Hello people, we're just going to try and figure out something for Namaris. Go into your page, go click anywhere on your hit point area, not on your points, just somewhere in that box. And it should give you your HP management. Restore life with 1 HP and then confirm it. It may take, thing is sometimes it takes a while for it to come through as well, so you've already got all these lights on above you. Doing that lamp on's just going to wash you out. Hello, I'm talking to you. So yeah, so hopefully we've now sorted Namaris out, maybe. Because she was listed as being dead still. Nope, still got you as dead. Might have to leave it. Don't keep doing it, otherwise it's just going to keep. It should have done it already. D&D Beyond's having some issues.
Sometimes the extension takes ages to refresh.
Well, it's not even doing it on the website. Like, I've just reloaded her page and it's still showing her as dead.
Oh, on mine it's not showing me as dead anymore. I've got 1 hit point.
Refresh it.
Oh, really?
And it'll show you as dead still.
No. Yes.
Showing you as dead with 24 hit points.
That's crazy. How can you be dead? And
I know what we can do here.
She's only mostly dead.
Well, by the end of the episode, she's going to probably be dead anyway, so...
Hey!
Oh, yeah. The overlay knows.
That's not very nice, I have to say.
Did it confirm on its own? Restore life. Did it confirm? Just give us a few moments, guys. We're going to see if we can figure this out. If we can't, no, it's still reverting. I don't know what's causing it.
I'm just going to do a restart on Skype again, guys.
Let me log out and log back in again.
That might fix it, or the other thing you can do is at a later date, after the show potentially, we can potentially look at just cloning your character and dropping that Namaris from the campaign, inviting the new one.
Alright, so he's stream's fine. Skype is fine.
1 second here. Let's see if I can change that now. No, it's still showing you as dead. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Like I said, you're just going to have to deal with it for now. I mean, it's showing you as 24 hit points, but it may be a bug. Like I said, we'll have to just clone your character. But yeah, so right, guys, 50th episode last week, where we had a little competition running. Unfortunately, out of all the 20 odd viewers, we had only 3 people bothered to enter. So Drax was the closest with 31. The actual total references was 32. But Drax got the closest with the 31. He was the first one to guess. So Drax is our winner of that particular competition. So because of the lack of interest, I won't be doing any more competitions. But however, what we are going to do is, if you look at the channel points at the bottom of your chat windows, guys, I've added some channel points. So what you can do now is, if you click on the channel points there, you'll see a GG and a natural 20. So for 10,000 points, you can offer one of the players of your choice a luck, which means they can re-roll a skill check or a save with that luck. You can stack luck, so you can give your players, the player of your choice, multiple lucks. With a maximum of 5 per game, so you can give them up to 5. The inspiration, or the inspire, which is 15,000 channel points, you can only give them once, but that gives them a D10 on check, saves and attacks. That's once per game, or once per game. Might make it twice per game, but it'll only happen once. You can't stack them, so once I've used it, you can give them another one throughout the game. But use your channel points, viewers, because that's what they're there for. That's free. It's just a way of interacting. Don't forget, you can also, for 25,000 channel points, class character, class name and race, and will create that NPC in the campaign for you. And also for 20,000, guide the raid. So for 20,000 points, you can tell us who we're going to raid for the evening. So
All right.
make
I'm
sure
going to make a character for you.
Yep, do that if you got spend the channel points and go crazy. So yeah, it has to be all you need to give me once you've done it, redeem the points in the Discord. DM me the name, race, and the
Sweet.
class. So you cannot inspire or luck yourself, Trashman. And players, unfortunately, you are not eligible to inspire or luck your fellow players either.
Hey, it's worth a shot.
But I have
But that's how it works.
101,000 points.
So, well, make a name. You can guide the raid. You got plenty of things to spend it on. So, Orbasm with the name generator. So, Baz, when you get a chance in the Discord, name, race, class, and I will create that NPC in the game somewhere, somehow. We are getting towards the end of the campaign. That's one thing I will give you guys. The characters are now at level 11, around 10 and 11. So things are starting to reach their peak in the game. So the story is in its latter stages, shall we say. So we're not sure how much longer this will continue before we are at the end of our story. But without further ado, we shall move into recap mode and continue where we left off from last Sunday. So, last Sunday evening, we did, where we last left off, you all prepared yourselves for an impending battle with the Master Vampire Cass. Resupplied and organised yourselves. That evening, Evldoa transformed into her white dragon form. Her 3 passengers strapped themselves in, and you set out. Evldoa lifting into the air, travelling above the ocean. It was cold and windy, but not uncomfortable. After several hours of travelling, you made it to the shores of the southern region of Paradigm. You camped there for the night. During the evening, Het had a chat with the Rattlehead, one of his deities, and was given some very interesting information. You then set off again, leapfrogging over the next couple of nights, heading towards Hiramrath, where Cass's keep is situated. Once arriving in the region, you were met as you reached the bridges by Bash and a few other of Aslan's mercenaries, who informed you that Cass himself had actually arrived back at the keep earlier that day, which sort of foiled your plans for a surprise attack. But a more direct approach was adopted, and you headed out. Bash and the mercenaries moving into concealment to run in and ambush any extra forces that Cass may have to keep them busy while you guys dealt with the vampire. You fixed it? Awesome. Have you refreshed to make sure it stays though? Once you were there, Sadiq basically announces your arrival, and Cass reveals himself, and the battle begins. Backwards and forwards, the battle rages, with Cass taking damage, albeit seeming to soak it up relatively easily and enjoying himself in the process. Bash and his cohorts indeed piled into the skeletal warriors and the vampire spawn and seemed to be handling them with relative ease. At some point during the battle, Sadiq and Alessandros both fell to a very powerful charm spell. Sadiq attacking Het in the process, dealing some damage but not too much. But Alessandros, however, managing to get into a flanking position behind Fiala in her humanoid, or Fiala / Evldoa in her humanoid form, and manages to bring her to unconsciousness for the first time in this campaign. With that, Sadiq manages to free himself from the vampire's clutches and deals the final blow, decapitating the vampire and allowing Het to perform the ritual that his deity, the Rattlehead, had instructed him to. Using the vial of holy water and Ildrid's blood, manages to trap the essence / soul of Cass in the vial. Once collecting yourselves somewhat, you headed into the keep to search for the artifacts that was believed to be held in Cass's vault. Didn't take much time to find it, and you indeed found more of the artifacts, including a very familiar greatsword that was once wielded by your friend and ally Neymaris. The information you were given was indeed that Neymaris may still live and be held captive in Cass's keep. Finding the dungeon levels, you indeed found a prisoner, beaten, malnourished, dehydrated, and severely exhausted, and was indeed Neymaris, or so you believed. The zone of truth was cast by Het, and questions were asked. Seemingly satisfied with the answers, you then freed her from her cell and proceeded to head back to the exterior of the keep. And this is where we rejoin our heroes and our story, as you guys now enter into the night air once again at the exterior of Cass's keep, where several skeletal bodies lie. Bash, Nala, and the dwarven gentleman all wait to see what has happened.
Was Neymaris's gear with her swax, or
no? It was just the sword.
Alright. So I say we get out of here, guys. Someplace safe. Tell Bash. What do you guys think?
What? Wait! Oh, you guys are back. What? And he spies you. Who's helping Neymaris? Because she's struggling to walk at this point. She's very exhausted. She doesn't have a lot of strength at all. Who was actually helping her physically? She will definitely need help to move.
Het will aid her.
And Het's probably strong enough to do it on his own, unless someone else wants to help. But Het, you definitely able. She's a lot lighter than you remember. I mean, the last time you had any kind of thing physical to do with Neymaris would have been the night that she sleepwalked from the inn in Voland, and she was definitely physically intimidating and very strong. And I mean, you guys have seen her in the fighting arena. She's not a small person, or wasn't a small. She probably weighs about 2/3 of what she once did. So that's the first thing you notice, is just that she, even gripping onto her body, her muscles are not what they used to be. She's definitely worse for wear. But Bash sort of spies you guys coming out, and I mean, he's never met Neymaris. He doesn't know who she is, and he goes, "Oh, who's that you got there? Is you guys all good?"
This is a once thought dead previous enemy friend, frenemy.
Wait, what? You mean, isn't that your friend, the one you guys? Wait, hang on a minute, because he does remember that he did in fact meet Neymaris. He was there when she was murdered. And he sort of looks at her as you guys approach, and you can see the look of confusion on his face. He's like, wait. Okay. Sure. Shit. Right. You guys okay? Like, we're not gonna... Like, you gonna kill her again, or what? I'm confused.
I guess, I mean, Het looks at Yildri, then Sadiq, then Ali, and then at Namaris next to him, and he goes, "Well, Bash, it's up in the air at the moment."
I mean, I can do it right here if that's what you need.
Bash, Damaris probably shouldn't hear that. She says she doesn't remember anything.
And
I don't really want to.
Namaris, you wanted to respond?
What are you talking about? What do you mean you killed me?
Awkward.
I haven't been anywhere.
Well, not really. You're
Was I?
And
I'm
What?
sorry. Was I not
And after
supposed
that,
to
I
say
just kind of
any? Yeah.
look, and I'm like, nah, and just
And then
close
she
my eyes
passes.
again.
And then she passes out. It's was I not? I'm sorry. Awkward.
Yeah.
don't worry, Bash. She was gonna find out that we killed her originally, eventually, somehow.
I wanted to put it off, but
I don't know if we killed her anyway, but
Well,
yeah.
what I mean, it was definitely her, wasn't it? I mean, it looked like her, sounded like her,
Yeah, but she's here.
but yeah, she's okay. All right then.
Even with a zone of truth, Bash, a spell that makes creatures speak the truth, she seems to have no idea. So we
Right.
feel like she is on the level.
Okay. Cool. All right, you guys. How you guys getting back to Valond? I mean, I assume you're going back to Valond or something. I'm not sure what you guys are up to. We're gonna be getting a lift per se. Our druid friend is gonna come back and like get us back. So I mean, if you guys are wanting to come with, I'm not sure what you guys' plans are. I mean,
We didn't really think it through.
and the dwarf
Because-
pipes up beside Bass. He goes, "Hey, at 8, we're definitely going back tomorrow. We're gonna rest tonight because I am fucked." And he's got blood all down his face, and he's like, you can see they're all pretty well done in. And he goes, "Oh, and
Agreed.
And Baskel says, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna go camp on like the other end of the bridge, not here because like it stinks and stuff. But we're gonna go back other side of the bridge. I would stay away from Aris. I believe that like the mayor was not entirely on Cass's side, but I think most of the city is loyal to him. Now that he's dead, they might sort of come out and they probably won't be too happy that we've done what we've done. So we're going to go camp in the forest, like just to the east, and then in the morning we're going to transport back to Valond. So I mean, you guys are happy to camp with us if you want. I'm not sure what you're up to.
It sounds like a good idea.
Yes, agreed, Sadiq. I am very, not as bad as Namara's here, but I am very worn out from the last. And looking around, I think a few of you, Yildri, you look pretty worn out as well.
yeah. Did you want to see your family nearby here? I mean, they're bury them or?
I believe, from what I recall, we will be endangering the city or the town if we go back there. Kostas will probably carry on whatever threats that him and Cass have made.
Alrighty.
I will visit when all this is over and lay things to rest, so to speak.
And with that, then the one thing that still remains on the battlefield, Sadiq, you probably the first one to notice it, is Cass's sword. Still lays where his body fell. It is a large onyx blade, very well crafted, emanating a shadowy aura. And as you recall, it had the ability to sap one's strength when attacked with it.
Question is, do we want to pick it up? Because it could be cursed. I'll look over at Het and go, is there anything you could do to find out if it would be safe to pick up?
Yes, I can detect magic on this, at least. Seeing it's magic, I guess we would know that.
Well,
Detect...
well, actually, technically, if you detect magic, you'd be able to kind of detect if there's a curse.
What type of magic it is,
It
correct?
would detect what type of magic, but
It wouldn't say curse, but yeah.
It wouldn't be. He wouldn't be able to tell whether it's cursed or not. But
I will have to probably... Oh no, I have some slots left, and first level only. But that is... I was going to say I have to take 10 minutes, but no, I can use a first level slot. I use all hefty slots. Hit instacast detect magic. He says, "Still, lady," and he holds his hand forward. He says, "Divine this for me and let me know what it sees." And what does it see?
it sees all the usual bits and pieces light up. The swords and items that you all carry on your persons. And the sword lying on the ground also emits an arcane reading as being magical. The magic that's on it is typical of a magic weapon. It's the same as any of the weapons that you guys currently carry.
Enchantment.
Wait, did I hear a gnome? It's enchanted, 100%, which we were expecting. There's one way to tell. It picks it up.
It picks it up.
Correct.
It's
then
heavy.
Head tries to put it back down on the ground.
And you pick it up. It's heavy, but not as heavy as a greatsword should be. It's definitely well balanced and very, very well made. Are you proficient in greatswords at all, or heavy weapons?
Hell no.
Well, if he's able to pick it up and then put it back down, I go up, pick it up, and start flinging it around because.
Are you proficient in heavy weapons?
I'm proficient, yeah, with great swords.
So when you pick it up and then you put it back down, no problems. I need you to roll a quick wisdom save for me though. And Sadiq, you'll also need to make a wisdom save also.
19 for hit.
19. With that, you feel like the moment you picked up the sword, it sounded like someone whispered to you. You couldn't make out what they said. It was really eerie. But then you put it back down and you sort of waited for a second and nothing happened.
Okay, it's weird, but at that stage, I guess Sadiq's picked it up as I'm speaking.
By the time that Sadiq, you picked it up, what was your roll?
14.
14. You, however, do hear a voice. Only you can hear it. It is directly in your mind. And it goes, "Yes. Wield me. See how I feel. Blood. Feed me. Feed me more."
So I'm going to go, yep, it's an intelligent weapon. It's talking to me.
I could put it down. Can you put it down?
I'm going to go to put it down.
You don't want to put me down? We can do great things together. Roll a wisdom save.
Another wisdom save.
Bela says, didn't Thorfey or Coram say something about touching it? I can't remember.
17.
You were quite correct. That is a failure, my friend. As you go to put it down, and he speaks to you, telling you not to put him down, you hesitate. And you really don't want to let it go. You feel the weight of it. It feels natural in your hands. It feels right. It feels like it will help somewhat. He then speaks to you again. need me. You cannot defeat him without me. Every soul that falls beneath this blade would give you more strength, more abilities. What do you say, Sadiq, my friend?
I'm going to keep this sword for a little bit, people.
Het looks over to Sadiq and says, I can't do it right now, but I can remove that sword from your grasp if it becomes a burden.
Well, it's not a burden.
I am no burden, and he will never relinquish me from your grasp.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, is that the saying?
We can do wonderful things, you and I. Every sword has to have someone to wield it.
Are we all just standing here, like watching him stand looking at the sword?
Just
Yep.
looking at him.
He's just looking at the sword speaking to him. No, you guys cannot hear anything. You do notice that the sword, every now and again, just really emanates that dark, shadowy aura. It seems to emanate stronger, and then it relinquishes a little bit. And the one thing you do notice is Sadiq's eyes do seem to shadow over somewhat. Just ever so slightly, just almost like a dark shadow sort of crawls over his eyeballs and then disappears. But he seems normal, like he just doesn't want to give up the sword at this point. He's quite happy to keep it.
Okay, this is a little weird, you and your sword making love. Nonetheless, Sadiq, the rest of us are going to make sure it's cool. I mean, if it becomes a problem, I will remove it from you. Sound fair? Or either that or Yildri can remove your head from you. We've got options.
I am hungry.
Right.
They can certainly try.
Is it? So only you can hear it? Is it talking now?
Yes,
Sadiq.
only you can
Ah.
hear me.
Yes.
They can never understand what it is to wield such a weapon.
Apparently, you would never understand what it is to wield such a weapon.
Is that what's its name? Sadiq, ask it its name.
What's your name?
I have many names. The latest I was given was Craven.
Apparently, it's known by Craven now.
Oh, it's like a drug reference because you're craving the use of it.
Like Craven chicken? Craven mushrooms?
Or like that?
I think it'd be more craving
Feed me
for.
blood.
God, my name's not Seymour.
Or semen.
Okay.
So do you have it out or do you sheath it?
No, just in my hand.
Just in your hand? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any room on my back.
True, yes, because you're already carrying two great swords. So yes, so you now have a third.
And the Maris's one.
Oh, so you now have four with no Maris's
A
swaps
walking
as well.
armory.
So yeah, so the sword speaks to you, not continuously, but every now and again. I'm assuming as you guys start to walk with Bash and the rest to find a reasonable area to camp before traveling the next day, every now and again the sword just lets you know that he's there, and he is telling you that with him, you will have no problems at all defeating Kosis and his minions. The more that fall beneath his blade, the more powerful and the more strong you will grow, which will only benefit everybody in the long run. So you guys walk. It takes you probably about an hour or two to traverse back over the bridge. You don't seem to have any problems with any undead along the way. They seem to have all fallen by the wayside with Cass's death. You do, however, as you reach the end of the bridge, you do notice a couple of human guards wearing the colours of RS. Have you been there before? They haven't seen you, but they are off in the distance, and they seem to be patrolling the area. What do you guys do? Because if you get any much closer than where you are, you probably will alert. They will alert to your presence. And you do have been told. Bash has obviously said that possibility that they are still loyal to Cass. Bash at this point sort of spied them as well, and he sort of says, I think we should duck off this way into the... It's a bit swampy, but better than crossing paths with them. We're not sure where their loyalty's like at this point.
Hang on, Bash, hold the phone. Sorry, Ali, where you go?
What time of day is it?
It is still night time.
Or night?
It is probably early hours of the morning by now.
How far away are they?
About probably 80 to 100 feet.
And there's
They look human.
No,
From this distance, they look human, so you don't know if they'll see you or not.
so there's no real hiding places between them and us.
It's fairly open ground, yeah. I mean, you've got the trees in that as you're coming off the bridge to your left, leading back into the sort of swampy ground, back into the forest, where Bash and that are heading, and where you guys sort of landed, the clearing you landed in earlier that day, or earlier that evening.
I mean, I would stealth, but I'm scared I'll get a low roll.
I mean, you can still stealth. I mean, they are far enough away they have not noticed. It doesn't look like they've noticed you. If you guys wanted to stealth, that is completely up to you.
Well, I was going to do it, just get a closer look.
We're just going to follow Bash off into the swamp.
Yeah, follow Bash.
Yeah, I thought Bash was looking for somewhere so we could have a rest. I didn't realise we were going for a wander, a trek.
Well, guys had to go back over the bridge, out of the swamp, out of the marshlands, heading back to the
we
forest.
weren't going
to where Bash and that were camped up. So they're heading back that way. He says you're gonna have to go through a bit of marshland to get there because of these guards, basically.
I'm with you now. I thought we were just gonna shack up in Cass's castle there and have a rest in one of his barricaded rooms.
Well, you could have, but again, I think Bash would have sort of said, well, probably not a great idea. He still has people that are loyal to him, and if they had returned, the chances are you could have been overrun. Especially now that he's dead, you guys probably know that Asmodeus probably knows that he's been defeated, being a god, of course, would probably have that knowledge, maybe.
All right.
Yeah, there's
Stealth
a lot of unknowns there. So you are all wanting to roll stealth. So I'll get stealth checks from everyone, please. Bash, Marla, and I forget the dwarf's name, but he can roll as well. Hit, you will be rolling at disadvantage because you are aiding a unconscious named Maris at this point.
Okay. Well, I rolled the same number twice, which is handy.
Well, that's good then.
It's not good though.
So
8.
8. So
Better than mine.
So
I got 6.
6. Alessandros. You muted.
You are muted.
I want to know, well, Namaris can't do anything. What's Idri got?
What's yours, Alessandros?
28.
Eldri.
20. I got a 20.
So, Bash got an 18, Nala got a 9, and Helgrim got a 22. So, collectively, you think you're okay. Hit, you struggle a little bit with Alessandro, with Namaris trying to remain silent, and you kick up a few stones and you stand on a couple of sticks. Sadiq, with all your armory that you're carrying, the multiple swords, And the armor, I mean, you're wearing dual layered armor, so you're a lot noisier than usual. But as I roll perception, luckily for you guys, these guards don't appear to be looking for you. And they appear to be human, so they probably don't have dark vision, so they don't appear to see you as you pass within sort of 80 feet of them, and move into the swamplands. Your movement speed will be halved for a time, so it does take you some time to move through the swamp, through the marshes, to more solid ground. I need everyone to roll a perception check for me, please.
Including me?
You are currently passed out, so no, you're fine.
Full of great rolls today. Deception of 4.
Hit.
Yeah, me too. 12.
Alessandros.
13.
13, and Ildri.
I got a 20. 8, 12 plus 8.
So, Bash and the group, not bad. You don't do too bad. So as you're moving through the marshland, the one thing you guys notice is there seems to be a large frog-like creature, probably 60 feet from your current position. Again, doesn't look like it's seen you, but it is very large. It's grey. I mean, this whole marshland smells bad anyway, but this thing, it's sort of looking around, sniffing the air a little bit. You see its tongue sort of comes out and it sort of snakes out about 8 feet from its mouth and then back in again. It's bipedal, so even though it looks a lot like a frog, it is standing on its hind legs, and it's got big arms and claws. And then you see, coming out of the mist, is a small deer, a doe, not huge. And then you watch this frog-like creature turn its head quickly, and then its tongue just goes, snags the deer and just pulls it back in as quickly, straight into this giant toothy maw. And all you hear is this crunching of bone and the of the deer as it dies in a very horrible looking death. Bones and guts and that's running down this creature's face as it sort of turns and sniffs the air once more as the meal is consumed relatively quickly. It stops for a moment and sort of looks in your general direction, sniffs the air again, and then slowly turns and heads away from you. It appears that it has not seen you, and as you carry on, do you guys stop at this point, or do you continue moving as it looks at your direction? It's sort of sniffing the air. It hasn't seen you, but it's slowly sort of looking and turning, almost like it's sensing something. You're not sure.
I don't want to move if it's looking for us.
Yeah. Ildri, you would have been definitely the first one to see it, and definitely everyone would have heard and seen the deer consumption, because it was not unnoisy at all.
Probably
Definitely
best to
stop.
stay still.
What's that?
Probably best to stay still.
It?
And Hit would also stop trying to carry Namaris along. He would be easier just to stop to not attract attention.
I will get everyone to roll another stealth check for me. Sadiq, hit at disadvantage.
Five.
5, hit.
Well, it was a natural 20 on one dice.
And the other?
I'm just fighting my stealth. +4. Oh, it's a 10 in total.
Yeah, it's not bad. Alessandros,
27.
27. Ildri,
8.
8. Ooh. Bash was a 16. Nala was a 22. Elgrim, 24. Nice. So because Bash and that who are leading the way sort of stop as well and look, and they bash him out. It goes, shh, everyone get down. And you watch as this creature leans up to its full height, sniffing at the air, comes down on all fours almost, and looks directly at you, Sadiq. And you're not sure if he's actually looking at you, but it's really creepy because it really feels like he's got his eyes on you. And you hear, once again, kill it. I need blood. Do it. You know you want to. It's fun. What do you do, Sadiq?
Do I do a will save to say no?
You don't have to do what he says.
I'm gonna say
you can ignore him, or you can talk to him. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say shut up.
Go on. You know you want to.
Hit whispers. No, you shut up.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
Wait a minute. Oh, we're in a swamp, aren't we?
You are.
I'm gonna stick him under the water and say shut up.
You know that I'm in your head, right?
It helped.
Do you ignore him?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore him.
Okay.
How far away is this creature?
80 feet at this point, 80, 90 feet. Again, it looks like it's looking directly at Sadiq. It's not moved, and then after 2 or 3 minutes, it goes back up to almost full height again, and then turns very slowly away from you and starts to walk slowly deeper into the marshlands. Luckily for you guys, his perception check was so low. I mean, lower than the 5 that stealth check.
Man.
But yeah, so Bash just sort of goes, whew, not sure what that was, but man, it was big and ugly. Right,
Yeah,
let's
I
get
thought-
going.
Bash, I thought you would have had that one.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm pretty well spent after like all them skeletons. I mean, I killed like 8 skeletons on my own. Helped him
No, I
going,
mean-
fuck off, you did not.
No, I mean, I thought you would have had that one. You said it was big and ugly. I thought that's what you go for.
Right.
What he actually meant.
You
meant to say
you
was
hurt
he's
me,
gonna
Mr.
have
Hit.
that.
You hurt me deeply. I'm
Yeah,
going to get you
it-
for that. You realise that, eh?
It's just a joke. It's fine.
I'm so going to get you for that.
Take one to me. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you win this one, but just remember, I was the one to punch in the jaw. And he gets up and walks away.
That's true. Violence means you know you're wrong.
No, it just means I'm quicker than you. And he moves forward. You guys continue on. After about 10 or 15 minutes, you find more solid ground. The marshland gives way to greener grasses, bushes and trees. Then, after a short time, find the clearing which you guys landed in when you first arrived. Bash, Null and Helgrim say, right, I think this is probably the best place we can set up. You guys got tents and things, right? We've got a couple, but I don't think we can get everybody. I'll get a fire going and get some food going, and we'll call it a night here. I'm happy to take first watch if you guys want to get some rest. And who wants to take watch after me?
It will stay up the whole night.
You sure,
Sounds
Mr.
like
Hick?
it takes
You're looking pretty exhausted already.
Bash, I will go to sleep if you do me one favor.
Sure. What?
You have to promise me, by all your honor, keep Nemaris, currently the one that's with us here right now, keep Nemaris alive. Don't let anything kill her or take her. And keep an eye on my friends Sadiq, Ali, and Yildri. I do not want any one of them being touched or hurt by any of the others. Not your group, I'm just saying. With Cass being down, I have a feeling we are in a lot of trouble.
Not a problem. I mean, I'm sworn to Mr. Aslan, and he's your friend. Like, he talks really highly of you guys, and that's why we're here, to help keep everyone safe and alive. Obviously, if your friend Namaris is an extension of that, consider it done.
Thank you. And then Head sits up his tent and goes to sleep.
No problem. Nutty, if yours is red, then it's you. Because everything looks fine on my end.
So I'm not actually going to set my tent up.
Okay.
But my bedroll, I'm going to put it directly at the front of Fiela's tent.
Okay.
In camp there.
You're going to be right in the way, so if Fiela steps out of the tent, she's going to stand on your face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Aww, so sweet.
So,
it's called remorse, I think.
as you guys set up your tents, Bash has offered to take first watch. Who is going to take second watch? Fiela? And someone will need to take third watch. If no one volunteers, one of Namaris can't. You're stuffed.
Yeah, I'll take.
You'll take third. Okay. So by this time, at this stage, Namaris, as camp's been set up, the fire has been organised, and you come to consciousness again. You guys offer her food, water, those sort of things. She's still absolutely shattered. Like, she's exhausted. She's very malnourished, very, very dehydrated, but she's come to consciousness once again. Bash is sitting there. He's organising a big pot. It looks like a stew of some sort, probably rabbit stew. He has kept half a rabbit out raw for Mr. Het, however.
That is good. Het hands Bash 2 goblin steaks that he's had in his bag for about 6 weeks.
That don't smell very good, Mr. Het. Excuse me. So he takes the meat and cuts it up and puts it into the stew.
Excellent.
Everything tastes good when you cook it.
Is that the stew for everyone?
That's the stew for everyone.
Oh.
No, I don't think any of you guys would have seen him do that. He's just preparing. All you guys would have seen was him preparing a different range of raw meats, and there would have been 2 or 3 potatoes, probably turnip, maybe some leafy greens that he'd picked up from somewhere. It smells good.
I'm going to have the cooked meat that I already had in my pack, which is the last of it.
Last of your cooked meat.
And, yep.
So yeah, mark off if you're not going to be eating what Bash is eating, mark off rations if you are going to eat what Bash is eating, and bear in mind that none of you would have realised what he's put in it. It just smells good. It's bubbling away over the fire. He gets a large bowl and hands, actually not a large bowl, a small bowl, and hands it over to you, Namaris, and just says, "Excuse me, my name's Bash. I'm not sure if you remember me, but here's some food. Take it slow. You look like you have had a rough time of things, but just be careful. It's hot. You might want to blow on it a little bit, and it's a little wooden spoon in it as well." And he just hands you a nice hot bowl of stew, and it smells great. It's probably the best thing you've smelt in 6 months.
And I'm really hungry, and I start digging into it.
How quickly do you eat?
Probably too quickly for my condition.
Roll a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage, please.
Ten.
10? Not too bad, actually. It tastes good. The best thing you've tasted, I've said, in a long time. You haven't had much food at all. You've been lucky to get scraps of almost off meat, occasional piece of stale bread, very little water. So this nice hot warm stew, nice hot stew with nice big chunks of meat and vegetables and a good gravy with it is filling. It fills your mouth. You do start to choke a little bit. You've been eating a little bit too fast, so you sort of choke a little bit on it, but you keep it down and you manage to get through the whole thing. And it feels good to have something warm and solid in your belly for once. You do feel somewhat better. You're still very, very weak, but you are feeling a little bit more like yourself mentally, just having a warm meal. And I dare say someone's offered you some water as well, so you've got a bit of water there also. Who else is partaking in Bash's stew? So Sadiq, even though you didn't know what was in it, you are not going to eat any stew. You're just going to use your own rations.
Yeah, no, I've got that venison that I'm finishing off.
So Ildri, Alessandros, you both take a big bowl of Bash's stew. Bash has got a big giant bowl as well. He's tucking into it. He seems to love it. You both shovel into it, and it tastes great. It's not too salty. It has a little bit of flavour to it. You're not sure what type of meat. Looks like it could be rabbit. You're not 100% sure, but it's tasty. Doesn't seem to have any kind of off flavour, or it does have an odd taste. Every now and again you get an odd flavour biting through some of the vegetables and stuff, and through some of the chunks of meat, but not bad. Definitely
Bash, what did you put in this? This is great.
We had some rabbits from last night that we cooked. We cut up, and Mr. Heck gave me some meat to put in it too. It was smelt like way different, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. That's not bad.
So, how'd you guys get here, and what did take you so long? Like I said, we come through the tree with the druid lady, and kind of expected you guys to be here before us. So what took you so long?
We found alternate travel arrangements.
Well, obviously, because it took you so long to get here. I was just wondering why. I mean, you can't have taken a ship, because that would have taken like a couple of weeks. So, did you teleport to like the other side of the country or something and walk here?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Something like that, yeah.
Bash is going to roll an insight on Alessandros, and rolls a natural 19. He looks at you, Alessandros, and sort of gives you a bit of a puzzled look and goes, "All right, I mean, okay, sure, right, whatever. Anyway, so you guys obviously going to head back to Boulogne. Cass is dead. Yippee, fucking great. I fully expect to probably some retaliation, maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if Kosis will retaliate himself, or he'll send someone, or Asmodeus, like that devilly dude with the wings. You know, the big. Yeah, you guys met him, right? The horns. Yeah. Okay. He might retaliate. I don't know, but yeah. So hopefully everything will be okay till we get back to the city. At least we'll be relatively safe there. I mean, things are starting to get pretty heated up. Mr. Aslan and us, our group, we have dispatched, shall we say, several demon-y type creatures. Yeah, things are getting pretty nasty all across the realms. I'd say Nala's clan, you know, you guys were going to be looking for them, weren't you? The Goliath clan, you know, the guys that were in the north. Shit, that was her clan. We found her, and like when we went looking for them, she was the only one that survived, and barely. Like, we picked her up and brought her back to the camp and nursed her back to health, and she's been with us ever since. she was more than happy to come with us. And Alice doesn't look like she says much. She looks up from, she's eating as well. She looks up and gives a bit of a grin and a nod and just grunts. It's like, and you can see like numerous scars, tribal tattoos, which are not uncommon for Goliath, but numerous scars down her neck and on her face, and down one arm looks pretty scarred up. What looks to be bite wounds across the top of her left shoulder, but definitely a very capable fighter from what you saw. She managed to take down a vampire spawn on her own without too many hassles. So yeah, but Bash sort of says, well, that's kind of it from me. I guess I'm pretty tired, and I'm going to turn in and go for a perimeter walk, and then I'll do my watch and stuff. But I'm just going to relax, and I'm just going to go for a walk out around the forest first. You guys good? I'm just going to, yeah, okay, cool.
We're good.
And
Thanks.
he picks up his axe, gives it a bit of a twirl and a spin, holds it up and shoves it over. You can see he's made himself a sheath somewhat. It's kind of weird looking, but he just lifts it up and literally slots it into a leather sort of sheath that's attached to his harness, and it just sits there quite nicely, doesn't move. And then he grabs a small strap that's on the handle and attaches it to a small sort of buckle loop there, so it doesn't move. And then he moves very silently. For a big dude, he can move without making too much noise at all, and starts to do a perimeter walk. So it leaves Nala, Helgrim. Helgrim's just stuffing his face and drinking a great big, looks like a small tankard, like a barrel, and he's just pulled a cork on it. It's just guzzling from this corked barrel. Wipes his face. Hey, that hurt the sport. Oh, sorry, do you want a drink? It's mead. Great stuff. I can share it if you like.
It's usually
Did
Siddiq.
someone say mead?
Hey, my clan brew it. It's awesome stuff. I got a couple of small kegs if you would like one.
Sounds like a plan.
And he puts this little, and it is a little barrel keg. Puts it down beside him and sort of rummages through his pack, picks up another one and just tosses it over to you, like literally across the flames, directly over to you. Dexterity check to see if you can catch it without dropping it.
12.
You somewhat fumble it, but you managed to not drop it. Wasn't graceful, but you definitely did alright.
Cool. Knock a hole in the top and start drinking.
And it's good. It's good stuff. It's not really bitter. It's got a bit of a sweet sort of aftertaste to it. But it's pretty strong. Like for a mead, it's a lot stronger than you've had from likes of the Lond or any of the other cities. It's definitely almost like a homebrew type thing. It's something that's been homemade.
He's a dwarf, right?
He is a dwarf, yes.
I'd expect dwarven mead to be more of a spirit mead than...
Pretty much, yeah. It's definitely got a very alcohol-y flavour to it. Probably more alcohol than mead at this point.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, Helgrim Stormbrew at your service.
No, never heard of yours.
Probably not. Not many dwarves in the lower areas of Paradigm. We come from the far north.
There's a dwarf in Boulogne that's got the hots for hair. Our resident dragonborn.
I mean, when I say not many like clans, plenty of dwarves scattered around the place. But the Stormbrew clan, we're from the far north. Well, when I say am from, where from, I guess. The reason I'm with Azulan and Bash and the like is our minds and our homes were kind of destroyed by Corsus and that bunch of wankers. So
Yes, I've met Kosis, and he is a pretty big wanker.
I agree. He's one of the biggest, and which is why we of course agreed to join with Azulan and his group to bring some order to Paradigm and help you guys get whatever you need. So, oh, excuse me, that was a good drop. And
It is.
picks it up
keep
and
on drinking.
starts guzzling. He starts guzzling some more. Burps loudly. The mead sort of running down the side of his beard and into his beard, and he sort of gives his mouth a wipe again. Then hands the keg over to Nala, and she sort of just gives him a sort of a bit of a nudge and shakes her head and just grunts again. Doesn't really say much. Again, finishes off her food and she just nods to you guys and heads to a tent to turn in. After another hour or so, Helgrim, very, not really staggering, but you can definitely see he's inebriated, which is kind of hard to tell for a dwarf, but he's downed one of these kegs and got halfway through another one before he's decided to turn in for the night as well. How much of that keg do you drink, Sadiq?
I'm gonna probably drink the whole thing.
I need you to make 2 con saves for me then. First one
Okay.
for about halfway through.
Natural 20, 26.
Holy shit. And that 20 on a con save. With that, you get halfway through and it's great stuff. And you get a good glow on. And you're definitely feeling it, but it's good. You feel great.
And a dirty 20 for the second.
You finish off the last of that keg, you burp ever so loudly, and you just sit back and go, wow, that was great.
Yep.
You don't feel drunk. You definitely feel the effects of it, but you're not going to feel, you don't feel ill or anything like that, but you've definitely got a good glow on.
Yep. Great way to celebrate the death of Cass. Now I'm going to strip off my armor, which will probably take me an hour to get out of.
You do have a fair bit on. As you are doffing your armor, you hear that voice again from your new friend. So tomorrow, blood. Find battle.
Yeah, eventually.
No,
Wait your turn.
not eventually. Soon. You will understand how good it feels. You will grow
Wait your
stronger.
Actually, that's a good point. I get my strength back too, don't I?
At the end of the long rest, you will regain your strength. Yes. And the sword says, "I took from you, but if you kill for me, I give it back."
Yeah. And go
Do
to
you understand?
Nope. But
You hit people with big blade, and you get stronger.
oh, that's how it works. I hit people with big blade and I get stronger. See, what normally happens is I hit people with big blade and people die. And
Of course, that's kinda how it works.
yeah,
But I give you their strength as well.
oh, okay, righto. And just throw everything in the corner and clank, 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 clank.
You do need to be attuned to gain all of the sword's abilities, though. At the moment, you don't
Not
know what
gonna
it
happen.
does. to gain that, to gain the strength on attacks, you will need to be attuned to it.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
I don't know about that. We will see during the evening. You may not have a choice. So, Sadiq turns in, and indeed takes you quite some time to take off all the armor. You lay all your weapons aside, the backpack with all bits and pieces. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before they turn in? Neymaris, you are conscious and eating and drinking. You're feeling a lot better. Het, Elishanis, and Ildri are all still awake. Neymaris.
I would have gone to sleep as soon as I'd finished my food and drink.
Did you guys have a tent for Neymaris or not?
Don't know, don't care. Here's a fire and I'm asleep.
He'd set his tent up right at the beginning. He said he set it up.
Yep.
He was prepping it for Neymaris,
Okay.
and he was going to share Fiela's
that's right, you
tent
did too.
if she was happy with it.
Cool. Duly noted. So Neymaris, you are helped to a tent, a bedroll, which is very comforting to you. You've not slept on an actual bedroll for some months. You still don't smell too savoury, but you are definitely feeling better, and a nice soft bedroll is very comforting to you. I'll get back to you during the night, but you will deal with you in a moment. So Het, Ildri, and Alessandros, you are still awake. Bash has sort of circled the camp, has come back and sat back at the campfire, and is just leaning back and sort of gazing at the night sky, seemingly sort of in his own head, sort of off doing his own thing. So, who's doing what?
I'm waiting for Ildri, Fiela to go to sleep.
Alright, I would like to look for some mushrooms. We're in the woods,
You
right?
are in the woods,
Correct,
yes.
swampy woods.
So you
And
want to go for a
just
wander
try
and
to
look for
see if
mushrooms?
I can find some and lay them at Neymaris's.
I would
side.
say that you would roll a survival check for me. I mean, you know what mushrooms
Well-
look like, but
12.
While she's doing that, Head will just retire. He is knackered.
okay. So you retire to the tent. 12. It takes you quite a while. I mean, it's very swampy and damp, which is what you'd expect to find mushrooms. But it's dark. You do have dark vision, but it takes you some time. But you do find half dozen okay mushrooms. Nothing too flash, and you lay them outside of Neymaris' tent. Alessandros.
While Fiela's doing that, I'm just watching where she goes and what
Okay.
she's doing. Not interacting, just keeping my
Do
distance.
you follow her? Because she walks away from the camp.
Yeah.
Do you
yeah,
follow?
but
Do you
keep-
stealth, or do you allow her
Yeah,
to notice?
stealth.
Roll a stealth check, please.
She sees me.
What'd you roll?
13.
13. Roll a perception check, Fiala. What's your passive, actually?
My passive is 18.
Yeah, you would definitely notice that Alessandros is not following closely, but she is not too far behind you at all times while you're out looking for mushrooms. Again, it's not creepy. It kind of a little bit creepy that she's following you, but up to you what you do with it.
I duck behind a big. See if it passes by.
If you want to hide from me, you have to roll stealth.
Alright. I'm not really hiding, I just want to.
Well, if you're ducking behind a
Runner.
tree, you still need to roll stealth.
Yeah, 9.
9. Perception, Alessandros. And you don't have dark vision, do you?
I do. I got the glasses on.
You still got the goggles on, okay.
So what was it? Perception,
Perception,
was it?
yeah.
17.
Yeah, so you see a duck sort of darting behind a tree. What do you do? Do you do anything, or do you just allow it?
No.
No?
I
Just keep walking?
Yep. Well, keep watching.
So you stop and
Are you-
don't move forward, or you keep walking?
Mm-hmm.
You stop.
Just
So after
Alright,
about
so-
5 minutes, she doesn't walk past. Or he doesn't walk past because he's still in male form.
I yell out from behind the tree, do you not trust me or something?
I trust you wholeheartedly.
So why the stealthiness?
Protecting you.
I'm debating whether I should roll insight or
That's up to you. If you want to roll
Well,
insight, roll insight.
I'll roll insight. I just look at him. 16. Is he telling the truth?
Ellie, are you telling the truth?
Hell yeah.
Okay. I say, okay, I trust you. And then I just keep looking for mushrooms and.
So you find the mushrooms. You both then return to the camp. Bash is still there. Sort of, you see him sort of turn slightly as you guys approach. Obviously, he's fairly alert, even though he looks like he's half asleep. He notices you guys coming from quite a distance off, and gives you a nod as you approach the camp. Do you then turn in? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alessandros, you camp outside of tent.
Yep.
Lay out your bedroll and lie down, and sleep finds you, unless Het, Sadiq, you're on your own, but Het, if you got anything to discuss before you sleep, or would Het be asleep by the time they got back?
I think it would be out to it. He was very drained.
Before you do drift off, however, Het, you hear in your mind's eye, or see and hear in your mind's eye, the face of the rattlehead. He doesn't say anything, just hear that rattling of the chains and his face, like he's trying to remind you of something. Namaris, as you drift off to sleep, a familiar voice comes to you and says, "Well done. I've kept you safe. It's time for me to rest and let your friends." And with that voice just dissipates off at the end there. And for the first time in several months, you find a restful and very deep sleep. Everyone else, you sleep, takes you, Sadiq, I need you to make a wisdom save at disadvantage, please.
Ooh, wait a minute. Can I use DM inspiration?
Okay, yes, you've got it. You've had it all this time, so yes, you use DM's inspiration
Finally get to use
to
it.
re-roll one of the dice, but you must take the new roll.
All right, that would be 19.
19. During the evening, you don't hear the voice of the sword again, but you do wake probably a couple of hours after you fall asleep, and you wake up and your hand is on the hilt of the sword. Definitely wasn't that way when you went to sleep. You find that it just feels super comfortable in your grip, and it feels natural. When you wake after your rest, Sadiq, Heavenly Executioner will no longer be attuned, but Craven's Edge will be. So in your equipment list, you'll need to add Craven's Edge and replace Heavenly Executioner with it. You missed that save by 1, my friend.
That's as high as I can go.
Well, unlucky for you, lucky for me, because I'm going to have some fun now. Well, you can have some fun. It's a good sword. But back to the rest of the group. Bash makes his perception check for his watch. Nothing much really happens. Bash wanders around the perimeter a couple of times, thinks he sees that frog creature again in the distance. can't really tell. There's something moving about out there, but he's ever vigilant. Who was taking second watch this night? Was Evldoa, wasn't it? So interesting. As Bash finishes his watch and get ready to head off, he walks over, looks down at Alessandro, who's blocking the entrance to the tent, and literally grabs your bedroll from the feet and slowly but surely drags your bedroll across out of the way, and sort of doesn't move you far, just enough so he can get past you. I need you to roll perception at disadvantage to see if he wakes you. You do not wake. He then opens the tent flap and just grabs your foot, Evldoa, and just gives it a gentle shake. And just, he doesn't say anything, he just sort of raises his eyebrows at you and gives you that head nod, your turn. And he then retires to his own tent. Did you find that in the equipment list, Becca? Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, found it. Just reading it now.
It's a pretty cool sword. So, Evldoa / Fiala, or Evldoa in Fiala form. You awake, you stoke the fire up, and is now your watch. Is there anything you want to achieve during your watch at all?
No, I looked for mushrooms already, so I'm just gonna sit and observe everyone sleeping. Well,
Okay. So you poke your head into Namaris's tent, have a look at her, and she's sleeping very, very soundly. Not snoring, but she's definitely looks like she's in a deep sleep. Again, you look at her and just notice how emaciated she is. She's not anywhere near her former self. I mean, you remember her as a proud warrior, very muscular, somewhat imposing figure of a person, but also very kind and gentle as well. But she just looks very, very tired and very ragged and just very thin and gaunt, eyes sunken in somewhat, but she looks like she's sleeping restfully, which is a comfort to you. Again, that the pang of guilt hits you in the chest again after what you previously have done, but at the same time you still believe what you did was right. You still believe you did what you had to do, but now looking at the person again, you just can't help but that guilt sort of creeps in as well. But after hearing what Sadiq said about doppelgangers, it kind of makes sense to you somewhat. You know enough about the world and what you've seen in your lifetime to know that these things are definitely possible, and you can't believe that you fell for it, basically. With that, the rest of your watch pretty much goes on eventfully. Again, you hear the night sounds, animals, occasional owl hooting off in the distance, deer and wolves and things like that. You do hear a bit of crashing through the swampland, splashing of water. You can only assume is some form of waterborne creature. Maybe that large frog thing that you saw earlier may still be out there. Doesn't seem to be worried by you guys. Doesn't get any closer. Nothing really happens. And who was taking third watch? Alessandro. So, Fiala, your watch comes to a close. You notice that Hallie's not in the front of your tent, but almost beside your tent, which you can only assume that Bash was the one that moved her, as he was the one that woke you up.
I'm gonna try to move her back before I wake her up.
Roll another perception check at disadvantage, Trash. You're muted, dude.
10, natural 1.
Natural 1. Critical fail. You don't notice anything. You were out to it, completely knackered. So Fiala, you do indeed move her right back in front of the tent, and then you wake her up. How do you wake her up?
I just take her shoulder and go, "Hey, sleepyhead, time to get up."
I lie there, open your eyes up, and sit up, and get ready for the watch.
Right. Fiala, you return to your tent. You turn in to complete the rest of your rest. And Alessandros, you are now watching the camp. Is there anything you wish to achieve during your watch?
I want to check on the Maris.
You move towards the Maris's tent. You open the front, and she's there sleeping, seemingly in a very deep sleep. But again, you notice the same thing Fiala did. She's definitely not the person that you once knew as far as her looks. It's definitely her, but she does not look like she's had a good time of things.
Cool. Scout around the camp and do me checks and all that.
As you remove your head from poking into Nemaris's tent, you turn around and Bash is standing directly behind you.
Wow.
What are you doing? Mr. Het told me to protect Nemaris. You're not doing anything you're not supposed to, are you? And he's like this far off you. He's like nose to nose with you. And you can tell he means business.
So
Speak up.
With that, I shadow step behind him and say, I was checking in on my friend.
You shadow step behind him?
Yes.
How far behind him?
Right
behind him?
Yeah.
As you shadow step,
it's gonna hurt.
and appear behind him, you appear with a hand around your throat.
Yeah,
as he moved exceptionally quick for a big man. It takes you by surprise. You're not sure how he knew what you were going to do, or how indeed he knew where you were going to be, but he just looks at you and goes, "Just making sure," and then lets you go.
You're not normal.
Well, me, of course I'm not normal. I'm just doing what Mr. Hit asked me to do, alright?
No, you're not normal.
What do you mean not normal? You're not normal. You're a girl in a guy's body. I mean, come on. How not normal can you get?
I'm an it.
Well, Mr. Hit calls you a shim. I mean, I tend to agree. But, yeah, whatever. Just watch yourself, right? I'm keeping an eye on everybody. Okay? Mr. Hit asked me to, so that's what I'm doing. And he sort of backs away, goes back to his tent, but you can see as he lies down, he's not actually sleeping. He's got his axe on his chest and his eyes are open. He's just looking out. His tent's sort of partly open and he's just looking at the tent.
Are you sure you don't want to take the rest of the watch?
I'm fine. You carry on.
Okay.
It's all good. And even now and again, do you glance back at Bash every now and again during your
Yes.
watch? And his eyes are not taken off you. Every time you look at him, he's sort of lying down with looking at you like this through his eyes. So.
That's enough to make someone paranoid.
You kind of get the impression he's paranoid because Het's asked him to do something, and if he doesn't do it, he thinks he might get in trouble. But he is very aware of what's going on. So through the rest of your watch, nothing really happens. Again, you notice all the same noises of the night. So every now and again, you sort of look as you go for a perimeter walk. You walk past Bash's tent. You look in there, and he's looking directly at you as usual. Even though, as at one point there, you hear him. It sounds like he's snoring, but as you sort of peer in the tent, he's snoring, but his eyes are wide open. It's very unnerving. You don't know whether he's asleep or not, but his eyes are open and it's creepy as fuck. But morning comes, and you stoke the fire, keep it going. You put on some coffee, I would assume, for everyone to wake in the morning. And everyone, as you wake, have the benefit of a long rest. Now, Morris, you get a benefit of a long rest. You gain all your hit points back, but you are still at level 2 exhaustion at this point. So yeah, so the day is yours, guys. You all come to consciousness. Bash starts, gets up early, sort of nods to you. Alessandro says he does get up and does another big perimeter walk on his own. And before we carry on, we're going to take a 5-minute break because I need to pee. So, chat. We will be right back in a few moments, and after these messages, while we pee and drink and all the rest of it. I suggest you all do the same. Again, don't forget channel points. If you wish to give any of the players luck or inspiration, 10,000 or 15,000 channel points. You can grant a player of your choice luck, which will give them a re-roll on either a ability check or a save. Or you can give them inspiration, which will give them a D10 added to an attack, a save, or a check. And so that's all channel points, and all you got to do to get channel points is to watch the show. Welcome to Gorthias. I think that's how you say your name. I hope so. If not, I'm sorry. But Gorthias92, thanks for the follow. I saw you in the chat there before. Epic Dwarf, thanks for stopping by as well. You can give it any time, Blue Jay, any time that you want to offer the luck to a player, you can just give it to them and they can use it anytime they like. So it's not something that you wait for a roll. You can give it the luck stack, so you can give multiple lucks to one player, which they can then take note of. So players, if you do get a luck given to you, make sure you take note of it and write it down and then mark it off as you use it, and same with inspiration. Maximum of 5 lucks per show though, guys, and a maximum of 2 inspirations. So kick up in me. It's backwards, Nutty.
Namaris, when you write it down, write it backwards.
You got to write it backwards. Well, you're forwards, so you got to write it forwards. It's backwards to the people on the camera. Anywho, we'll be right back after these messages.
Oh yeah, your lighting's sorted.
Right, we are back, ladies and germs.
Although you're really red on stream.
I'm not
No,
red on
it's not on
stream.
mine.
It's you. It's all you. I don't look that red. I don't know
No,
why.
it looks fine on my screen.
It's probably this that you're seeing, buddy. It'll be the light from my camera, from my microphone. But welcome, Lost Chapters, for joining us. So just before we get back into the story, just a quick Q&A. If anyone's got any questions, feel free. Epic Dwarf, I'm having fun. Feel like I've missed a lot, but looking forward to finding out how it all goes. Definitely the story is right, really towards the end of the main story, but as I say, all the VODs are available on my YouTube, which the link is there. Thank you, Blue Jay.
It's funny to see the progression too.
It is, yeah. And progression in the stream, where we started with the overlays to where we are now is
Yeah, that's what I
huge
mean.
difference
Yeah,
too.
just
And what we've sort of evolved from, because way back then when we first started, it was only me on camera, and we had these guys on Discord, and we've now advanced to Skype and cameras and everything else. So, as I said, channel points. Make sure you guys are aware the channel points are there. As far as the luck and inspiration are concerned, you can gift them at any time during the show. All you have to do is when you claim it, you have to type in the name of the character you wish to give it to. You can stack lucks and inspiration up to 5 lucks per character per game, and 2 per character for the inspiration. No idea how to use channel points? Really easy, guys. You go to the bottom underneath where you type your chat messages. You'll see a little gold circle. Click on it, and you'll see a whole bunch of options there. Obviously, Lost Chapters just used to highlight my message for 100 gold coins. If you scroll down, you'll see a whole list of options there. Click on it and follow the instructions. So we've got a redemption of luck. This one is for Ali. So Alessandros, you have a luck roll. So mark that down. You have one luck roll that you can use at any time during the rest of tonight's show. So that is for your ability checks and saving throws, which will give you the option to re-roll one of those saves or checks when called upon. So that is the first one there, Blue Jay redeeming a luck for Alessandros. You lost your face, not it yet. So, if no one else has got any further questions, we shall return to our campsite, which is now the morning. You regret making a new account? Oh, you lost all your points. Can you inspire random NPCs? You can offer luck or inspiration to the DM also, if you wish, which will, or a particular NPC also, if you wish.
No, you don't want to do that. Do not do that. That's not fair.
If it's good enough for the players, it's good enough for the DM.
I agree, DM.
This is
Because I sit at the other side of the table.
So, how would Sadiq's blood right affect the sword? Well, we won't know until he uses his blood right on that particular sword, will we? You want to give it to the sword? What is a sentient creature? So, but we are now back to our campsite. It is now morning. Alessandros has started to wake everybody up. The campfire is still roaring-ish, with a pot of coffee and everything set for the day.
Before Het comes out of his tent, he sits with his ashen skull in his hand, looking at the symbol of the Rattlehead, and then turning around, looking at the symbol of the Steel Lady. He's trying to recall or make use or sense of what the Rattlehead mentioned to him, as he's been through his notes and he cannot find anything to remember.
Once you'd completed the ritual, you needed to call on the Rattlehead so that it could be completed.
With waking everyone up, Fiala is the last one to wake up.
Who's the last one to wake up?
Fiala.
Okay. Why are you the last one to wake up? Is that what you want to be?
Yep. She
Okay.
needs to rest. She needs to rest.
Oh, because you nearly killed her.
Yes.
It's okay. You only stabbed me like 6 times.
Don't care.
Yeah. So, hit when you wake and yeah, you recall that that the Rattlehead required you to call on him once you'd completed your task, so that the rest of the ritual could be completed.
Okay. Hit will actually leave the tent once he realizes this and just say to the group, I just have to go into the nature calls for a moment. I'll be back. And he heads off into the nearest forestry, not far away.
Okay. So roughly how far from the campsite?
Out of sight, like 100 or so feet into the forestry.
Bash sort of says, oh, you don't need any company. You're good. You want?
No, it's all good. I'll only be a few moments, hopefully.
Right.
You know,
Okay then. Cool. Right you are. And so Hit excuses himself and walks out into the forest. You guys sort of lose sight of him after about 60 or 70 feet or so. So we'll follow Hit at this point. Hit, you look over your shoulder and you see that you're far enough away from the camp that you're pretty sure no one can see what you're up to. And what do you
and
do?
then Hit puts the skull on the ground and just with his bits and pieces of religious equipment from his backpack, he makes like a half moon or half circle. And then he chants, he says, brother who kills brother, spilling blood across this land. They kill for religion, and we don't understand. Fools like me who cross the seas, come to paradigm, ask the sheep for their beliefs, and show oneself. Rattlehead, what is your command? And he calls forth the Rattlehead.
And within only a few moments of you finishing the last sentence of your ritual call, a swirling shadow appears in front of you, and then stepping forth is the shrouded figure of the Rattlehead, the hood falling low over his face, the chains laying inside. You can see the steel plate or the iron plate that's covering where his eyes would be, and the big steel loops that loop through his jawbone. He steps forward and clasps his hand in front of him, in front of his chest, and says, congratulations, you have defeated this foul creature. Now let us finish it for all those you hold dear. Please place it on the ground. And he motions to the ground in front of you.
It does so.
And he stands there and he holds his hands up and then goes down on one knee and holds his hands over the vial. And you hear, again, you're not hearing these words from his mouth or from his being, you're hearing it all inside, all in your mind. And he says, upon my podium, as the know-it-all scholar, down on my seat of judgment, hammers bang, uphold my laws. Out to change the world, down as my pulpit. As the holier than thou could be the messenger of my being. And as he says that last word, you notice a radiant glow start to emanate from his hands. And it slowly moves down towards the vial. And then in an instant, a flash of light, which you guys will all see from the camp, just a split second, a massive flash, almost like just like a radiant flash, similar to your radiant damage you do with your sword, Sadiq. Just a radiant flash of light. In an instant, the vial is shattered into dozens of pieces, and just a shower of radiant sparks. And Hit and everyone else at this point, you hear the ear-piercing screech of pain. A voice that you were all familiar with. The cry of a once undead warrior that you have recently fought and defeated in battle. His voice is loud and in severe pain, and then in an instant it is nothing but silence. And with that Hit, the Rattlehead raises up, looks at you, and then just bows and says, "It is done. The scourge will plague this land no more." Mars.
I'm picking that as I hear this voice, I would cower in the hide in my tent.
You were not scared of him. If anything, it probably brings you comfort to hear that voice in pain, considering the pain that it has inflicted on you for several months. It would probably definitely give you a fright to hear it initially, but to hear that person in that much pain, even for a split second, would have been somewhat comforting to you.
Well, I smile to myself then.
Back to Hit.
Is the Rattlehead gone? Has he?
He's still standing there, just hands clasped in front of him. He sort of half bowed to you, said what he said, and it's not like he's waiting. It's almost like he's waiting to see if you've got anything to say before he moves on.
He looks up at the Rattlehead and he says, "They killed my mother and my family. With hopes, I guess, to ruin me. First mistake. Last mistake." And he nods his head.
And the Rattlehead again nods and turns and steps back through the veil. That shadow, mist of shadow sort of forms, and almost in a whirlwind as he steps through and disappears. And then the mist, that dark sort of shadowy mist, then fades in the morning sunlight. And the Rattlehead has returned from whence he came.
Hit would then head back to their little campsite.
And again, it was probably only about 10 or 15 minutes he was away, but like I said, all of you saw the flash of light and heard the voice of Cass Agnon as he cried out in terrible pain for a split second. And Hit comes back, seemingly he's standing tall, proud, and has a very satisfying look on his face. Or satisfied look, should I say. Almost like a great weight's been lifted off his shoulders somewhat. And you indeed feel that way too, Hit. You feel like some form of redemption has been achieved. Not complete, you still have things to do and things to be taken care of, but definitely feel vindicated somewhat.
Sorry, Evldoa, what was that?
Is that all good from whatever?
Yes, I just went to have a talk with the Rattlehead, finish the soul trapping of our undead friend where we just dispatched off yesterday.
Yeah, you heard him scream, I think so.
Oh, you heard that too? I thought it was just in my head. Sorry, guys.
So, guys, anything else you want to achieve before we discuss how you're going to get home? Amaris.
I'm guessing I would have found my mushrooms.
Yes, you would have very slowly and tentatively awoken, sort of crawled out of the tent. I mean, you're able to stand under your own steam this morning. Still feeling very weak. You're still a little weak at the knees, but you're definitely feeling a lot stronger after a night's sleep. And you do indeed happen to see the 5 or 6, not great mushrooms, but mushrooms nonetheless.
I clap my hands and I'm like, does anybody have any eggs?
Does anybody have any eggs by any chance? I don't think anyone has.
Typical female, never happy with what she gets.
Nala, however, walks up to you, puts a hand on your shoulder, doesn't say anything, and just hands you a single duck's egg and smiles.
Well, I go over to Fiala and I kind of hand her eggs and mushrooms, give her a big hug and say, would you mind, please?
You have a single duck's egg and half a dozen mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm gonna go make an omelette.
Roll a survival check to see how great your omelette is. Or at all.
I haven't seen a mushroom or an egg. Now, I don't know how long, so anything's going to be good.
23.
That's pretty impressive. You take a few of the small leafy greens that Bash used the night before. You take a dagger out and you cut them into a fine sort of diced, almost like parsley, and you chuck your egg and you diced mushrooms and you bit of your greens in there. Fry it off. It only takes a few moments. It's only an omelette, so it doesn't take long. And you present your mushroom omelette to your friend Namaris.
And again, I give her a big hug and say thank you.
And when she says big hug, it's a very flimsy hug because she just does not still have the strength that she once did. I mean, it's nice to get a hug from her, but it just doesn't feel the same. Not like a true Namaris hug, which would be a little bit overzealous at times.
Bone-breaking?
Yeah. Bear huggish, shall we say. But you take your omelette, you eat it successfully. It's definitely a lot easier to eat something this morning. You are feeling a lot better. And Bash then says, right, I'm just going to send a message to our druid friend who can get us back to like just outside Valond, right? So you're pretty good. Miss Fiala, you're good?
Well, I can do that, Bash. You don't have to send a message.
Oh, you can do that now?
Yeah.
Awesome. You know the trees outside Valond, I guess?
Yep, I know them well.
Cool,
So,
cool. Cool then. Whenever you're ready.
Everybody ready, or?
Just one thing, we may need to give Namaris a cloak with a hood.
Why that be?
Oh, is she naked?
He's got rags on.
Yeah, but
It's. I actually understand what Ellie's going on about, and I got the feeling,
Oh, Yeah.
she's.
Oh, right. Oh, shit, yeah.
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 People think she's... Well,
She.
no one actually saw her face, right? They just thought it was her. Like, always had the
Yeah.
helmet on, and everyone just
Yeah,
said it was
didn't-
her. So,
Yeah.
suppose probably a good idea. Well, until we find out what's
Eh,
going on and talk to maybe
everyone-
Coram.
Everyone thinks it was Namaris who was actually doing it. So.
Oh, shit, yeah.
think-
Oh, right. Yes, Damaris. Well, you don't know what anyone's talking about.
I look around and I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Let's just
Um,
say you've been a very busy girl, even though you haven't been.
Yeah, we will explain.
this town,
we
town.
Yeah, we will explain when we get back to the city, right?
Yeah.
Better to
Alright.
better to sit you down. Maybe let Coram probably do it. He's probably better at these things. I mean, you guys could probably do it, but in a safer environment, I guess. Back at the guild, maybe.
Would I have met Coram?
No,
No,
actually,
she would have.
No, you would have. You did meet Coram
Yeah.
before,
She did.
Ah.
briefly. Yeah,
Mind you, if I was a city guard, I probably might have seen him round.
you'd know who he was. But you did meet him briefly with the group
Yeah.
before you went to cast the first time.
Yep.
So you have met him. You don't know him well, not as well as these guys would by now, but you've definitely met him and you know who he is.
Right. Okay, when we get back, I've got something to listen to.
We've got a story to tell you.
I think these guys got quite the tale to tell you. Say no more. Fiona, whenever you're ready, pick up. There's a good tree just over there, and he's pointing sort of to the north. There's a big old oak tree that's big enough for the biggest of your party, like Het and Bash, to both get through without too many hassles.
Right. Do we need clothes for her? Are we good? Or
I'll give her my. See, Bash just takes off his cloak with a hood and just drapes it around your shoulders and pulls the hood up, and it comes down low over, not covering your eyes, but comes down low enough where it casts a reasonable shadow over your face.
She looks like Emperor Palpatine now.
Emperor.
Where does he live?
Is he from around here? Is that someone we need to talk to?
We'll probably have to kill him one day too. But
oh right.
not quite.
Well, put that on the to-do list then, okay?
He's somewhere down the bottom.
Yeah, we've got lots of things to do. I mean, yeah. But best probably not to talk about them things until you caught Namaris up on everything, I suppose, because there'd be lots of things you don't know. Maybe, probably. Right.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the tree and I'm gonna cast my transport via plants. It's gonna make a ring. And I'm gonna motion everybody to step through.
You've got 6 seconds as you watch Fiona walk up to the tree. She touches the tree with one hand and mutters a small enchantment, and you watch as almost like a zipper appears in the tree. It opens up slowly up from the base of the tree, from its roots up to about 6 or 7 feet in height, and then spreads slowly to about 3 or 4 feet wide. And it's something you're all familiar with. You've ported several times through the teleportation circle, and it's not dissimilar, but just happens to be inside a tree. And you're again, if you have the motions and says quickly, don't have much time, and so do you all step through? Bash has gone through. Nala and Helgrim all step through first. The first one's just to step through without any hesitation. The rest of you follow suit and step through the trunk of the tree, and in an instant you feel that sort of cold rush of air, and then in an instant you step. As you make your step, your foot finds land, and you are now standing outside the walls of the capital city of Paradigm. The probably about 50 or 60 feet from the western wall. Yes, Namaris. You got lots of questions.
I have. I'm like, that was a neat trick.
You've teleported before, so you understand what it is.
I know, but not through a tree.
Not through a tree, no.
Right, so should we go to the guild hall and find her some clothes, you think?
I think we
And
should
the
just
bath.
go. We should probably just go straight to what's his face.
Corin?
That's the dude,
Colin.
and talk to him.
That is wise.
Bath?
You can get a bath later.
Yeah, he needs to see how shit you really look to see how you've been dealt.
What are you trying to say?
Well, if we go there with your all
very well either, to
spruced
be
up and
honest.
if we go with your all spruced up and clean, and you're like, oh, I've been there for 6 months enslaved, no one will believe you.
I'm sorry, how long have I been? I know it's been a long time.
I don't know, how long has it been, Dungeon Master?
About 6-7 months. I mean, you guys, since you guys did your trial, it's coming up almost a year in game time, with the amount of traveling you've done backwards and forwards and the things that you've achieved. So yeah, it's probably 6 or 7 months since you went missing, or since they thought you betrayed them more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
Wow.
think it's about 6 or so months, Namaris.
That, I
Yeah,
guess
you-
it.
you
Well,
knew,
yeah,
yeah.
it feels like that.
You know it's been a long time, right? You started counting the days, and you lost count after the first sort of 40 or 50 days. You just because of the beatings and the amount of times that
7.
the amount of times that the mage that visited you pressed into your mind and tried to get you to turn, you just lost track of all manner of things. Time sort of all rolled into one. Things you thought were real were not real. Things that you thought were not real turned out to be real. It was just very confusing time. So you venture towards the city gates. The gates are closed, and there's a couple of guardsmen there, spears and shields, and their usual city attire. These guards, again, you've probably seen them once or twice. You don't know them well. It's not guards you've probably dealt with often, but they seem to recognize you as you approach. They sort of don't really take much to know. They recognize Bash as well. He gives them a sort of a nod and a half salute, and they motion. One calls, "Open the gate!" And you hear sounds like 2 or 3 or 4 guys move and lift what would be probably about a large piece of timber that blocks the gate, and then the gate slowly opens. You enter the city of Evldoa from the western gate, and to get to Corums, you know it's going to take some time traversing the city, probably a couple of hours from one side to the other. But you do so. You get the occasional patrol. Seems to be more patrols patrolling the city more than usual, which you guys akin to the fact that things have gotten pretty hectic in the realms of Paradigm of late. Several demon and devil attacks have been reported, obviously the things that you guys are doing as well, and the city seems to have gone into almost full alert with what you know of the prophecy. You know that Paradigm, Evldoa itself will be the main focus of any major attack that will come in the future. So you can see they're getting prepared for that. They're starting to bolster the walls where there were weak constructions in the walls. These city engineer crews, carpenters and that sort of milling around the place making repairs. General stalls are closed, but a lot of the major ones, blacksmiths and the alchemy shops and all that sort of stuff, are still open and trading, although not as busy as they once were. You do finally make it to the gates of Corum's estate. A familiar guard is on the gate with another one you've not seen before, dressed in Corum's personal guard's uniforms. Again, he stands bolt upright to attention as you guys approach, and says, "Oh, Corum's not expecting anyone. Does he know you're coming?"
He'll see us.
He never knows when we're coming. So,
we never know when we're coming.
You see him sort of shoulders relax a little bit, and he goes, "Well, yeah, you guys never really announced you're coming. You're getting used to it by now." He sort of turns, he goes, "Just wait here. He says, this guy, this is Jeff. He's new. Jeff, this is the Lions of Evldoa. You'll probably get to know them quite well. They just turn up willy-nilly. It's okay. Corum will see them. I'll be right back." And he heads down the long path to the main house. You see him from your distance. You see him bash on the door. The door opens. You see him sort of hand gesturing, moving, and sort of points back to you guys. And then he turns and comes back. And halfway back, he sort of just motions you guys to come forward. And as you pass him, as he's heading back towards the gate, he goes, "Usual room. You know where to go. Welcome back, I guess. Did you get what you needed to get done? I heard you guys were going after a vampire. I've never seen a vampire, but did you get it? Did you kill him?"
Yeah, you won't see that one.
Cool.
He's dead.
From what I've heard, I'd never want to see a vampire anyway, but awesome. I'm glad you killed it. Spot on.
They have a lot of glitter.
Really? Wow.
No.
Really underwhelming. Right then.
Shut up,
much, yeah.
Snake. Shut up.
Sorry.
And he doesn't question you either. He's never seen a vampire. He's got no clue. So he just, right you are, and heads back to the gate. So you guys make it up to the house. Corum's manservant greets you at the door with a friendly nod and a smile like he always does, and motions you into Corum's office. As his manservant closes the doors behind you, Corum's not there, but 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half hour or so goes by, and you hear Coram saying something to the servant outside. Would you grab us some fresh water and stuff? They'll probably be thirsty after their journey, and bring through some fruit or something as well. And then he doors open, and he's in his usual mural attire, his very lordly robes, and he's got the Vallon city chain, almost like a mayor's sash, but in gold and silver around his neck. He goes, forgive me, I've got a few duties to attend to, but I'm glad to see you've returned. Hopefully successful. Sort of waiting for confirmation that Cass is dead, I guess.
Yeah, he's dead.
Good.
He's dead. Dead.
And we have some information for you too.
Information?
No,
And he's looking around, and he sees the cloaked person
So I'll
sitting with you.
walk over to the cloaked person,
Yeah.
and slowly remove the hood.
And you see him he stands bolt upright, eyes wide, and says, I thought she was dead.
Sadiq, your turn.
Are you sure this is her? Are you positive?
No, not positive, but more positive that this is her than the one that we killed was her.
Wait. Hang on. You guys killed Neymaris, like, was it 4 or 5 months ago? 3 months ago, Gibbish? Yeah, 3 months
ago. Yeah, 3
And
months.
now you're telling me that this... Wait, I don't know who you are. You wait, you just wait. And you're telling me this is Neymaris? The one that you killed 3 months ago?
Yeah, do you know about doppelgangers?
I've heard of doppelgangers. I know what they do. I weren't aware that we had any in Paradigm, however. Never heard of them in this realm before.
Apparently, we've got at least 2 of them.
Hey, 2? What?
Well, we had.
What do you mean 2?
Well, the best way we can work it out is that they tried to break Neymaris, which is, couldn't break her, so acquired a couple of doppelgangers and made Neymaris.
Hang on, just let me think for a moment. He moves around to his desk at this point and then sits and sort of puts his hand in his face and just says, just give me a moment.
It took us a bit.
Hang on, this would explain one thing I've been trying to figure out for some time. There was a report that the Dark Paladin, aka Neymaris, had been in the village of Hellond when you guys were in the tomb, right? There was a report that the Dark Paladin had sacked Hellond and destroyed it. But only 2 days later, we had a report that another town in the southern regions had also been destroyed by the Dark Paladin around the same time, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. But then we thought, well, Asmodeus, god of hell, Kosis knows magic, maybe teleportation, but I'm wondering now if what you're saying is true, then that makes a lot of sense. So we need to find out, obviously, once and for sure, if this is really Neymaris.
Yep.
Now, have you guys made your inquiries, I suppose, with her? I mean, Het, Alessandros, you two probably knew her the best, being with her from the very start. what do
Well-
you think, Het? Do you think it's her? Do you believe that it's really her?
Well, we had a couple of ways of telling, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99.9% sure, if we're doing it mathematically, that this is the real Damaris. Yes.
Alessandros, and you're certain?
I'm on the fence with this.
And your reasoning for not being certain?
I don't have magic like the rest of them, so
What does your gut tell you, woman, child, man,
it's
Shim?
it's it's Namaris.
So you believe it's her? Great.
Yes.
And Sadiq and Fiela, I mean, you both knew her reasonably well. I think Fiela probably was closest than anyone at some point. I mean, you guys spent some time together, I believe. Do you guys, I mean, how should I put this? Probably not the best time to discuss that part of what happened, but do you guys believe that it is her? I mean, Sadiq, you're a soldier. You obviously have learnt, I mean, you obviously know about doppelgangers and the such, so do you believe that it is her?
I have more belief that this is Namaris than what the other one was.
Well, oh, okay. And Fiela, what about you?
I will be kind to my friend, and if it's not my friend, I will eat her. Oh.
Right.
She doesn't know about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Namaris, you would have heard that.
Also, yeah. Coram doesn't know, does he?
Yes, he does, but he's not letting on that he does. He raises a hand up, and Namaris, you're sort of making gestures, and he goes, right. What? Namaris, you have something to say. What do you have to say? What do you remember? I mean, yes, tell us, what do you remember? What happened to you?
I remember walking into Cass's keep, and then I'm awake in a cell. And I've been treated very badly for the past however long I've been gone, and then these guys show up.
So, when you say treated badly, can you elaborate on that? Are you able to, I mean, I can see you've been beaten.
I've been beaten, I've had somebody probing my mind, I've been taken to the brink of death and then brought back again just to be taken to the brink of death again.
And all this time you did not break?
Why would I break? I know what I'm here to do.
And what is it you're here to do?
I'm here to protect this city.
But you left the city guard, remember?
I know, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to go and get this god of the hells and protect the city from him.
Corm's going to insight check Namaris. And he looks at you quizzically and says, do you know where your father is?
No, I don't. I thought he was here. Is he not here?
He raises an eyebrow and says, and where is here?
Well, I'm guessing we're in Valand. Is that not where we've come to?
Move your microphone away just a touch. Yeah, breathing on it. He says, well, of course we're in Valand.
Duh.
And he's looking at you quite intently and then sort of looks at you, Fiona, first and just gives you a look to basically say, I really think it's her. Sort of nods at you. And the rest of you looks around and you get that same impression that he believes that it's also really her. He's known, you guys know that he's known Namaris since she was a little girl. And Namaris, you would also know Coram from that. You've met him several times. You don't know him well, but you've met him several times as a child growing up. But he knows you quite well. He knows Thorfinn very well.
Okay.
And he looks at you and goes, I remember when you first came to this city. I remember when you first joined the city guard. Could you stand for me, please? It's a struggle for you to, because you're just sitting down and think, oh God, sitting down is great. But you do stand, and he walks up to you and puts his hands on both your shoulders and says, your father missing. Has been missing for some time.
I did hear his name mentioned. I didn't hear much, but I did hear his name mentioned by Kath or whoever it was out in the hallway. I'm pretty sure it was Kath talking to somebody.
And any other names mentioned at all?
Well, there was Garrick.
I know a Garrick. Yes, he's an ally.
There was a Hellman.
Hellman, you say?
Hellman.
Interesting. And any other names?
Aaron.
Hellman and Aaron. Are you sure?
Yeah. And then I heard something about a dark paladin, but I don't know who I know bloody clue what that's about. That's when you were talking about this black paladin. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, it appears we have some discussing. Do you wish to tell her, or should I? You are her friends, after all.
Yeah, about that. I think it's better to come from you.
Well, Amaris, it appears you have been absent for nigh on 6 months. In this time, a dark paladin, as we've been calling it, which we believe to be you, however, has been running rampant across Paradigm. Several cities have fallen. Several families, and he sort of looks out. He doesn't say anything directly, but he looks at you here. Several families have been slain by this dark paladin process, and Asmodeus. With that, a time came when your friends came face to face with this dark paladin. Another who turned out to not be what we thought she was, then freed this dark paladin from what we thought was the clutches of Asmodeus himself, to reveal you as that dark paladin. She was then taken care of by a capable individual, and the body destroyed. So all this time, your friends thought you dead. As it so turns out, we appear to have doppelgangers among Paradigm, because the Dark Paladin still exists and is still out there somewhere.
Would make sense as to why when they found me, they didn't believe I was who I said I was.
Would you?
Well, after listening to all this, probably not, actually. And I just look at him and I'm like, can I go and have a bath now?
And he sort of sniffs some and does lean back, and then goes back and sits behind his desk. This is in time. So, Lions of Voland, now that you are seemingly restored to your former glory, somewhat, and obviously Amaris is going to require some rest to recuperate her strength and bathe. Tempest knows she needs it. No offense. What now are your plans moving forward? Do you have any plans moving forward?
I'd like to find out where Thorfinn is.
As would I. Unfortunately, we've had some of the best, also not the best mages, because he is or was the best mage, but the Mages Guild has been trying to scry on his position with no luck. But again, we're not 100% sure whether that's because whoever has taken him is warded against such things, or he himself has warded himself against detection. We still do not know whether he is left to his own accord or whether he's been kidnapped. Amaris mentioned a couple of names before. Helman and Erin. These are names I know relatively well, and I honestly did not think that I would hear these names again so soon. Helman Gewalt. He's a dwarven cleric. He once stood on the Council of Elders. Erin C. Lee was also one of the Council Elders. Gnomish wizard. I thought them long dead, but if Cass was talking about them, they either still live, and this poses a small problem. As you see, Helman and Erin are directly responsible for the starting of Dragon War. Warrants were issued for their arrest moments after after we found out, but they both disappeared and have been missing ever since.
So, are we to hunt them down then?
If they have resurfaced, definitely. If we can find out any information of their whereabouts.
Is it possible? Nah, Thorfinn wouldn't have gone after them, would he?
Maybe Thorfinn has gone to the gates of hell itself and he is going to take out Kosis as well.
Wow.
Thorfinn is a very powerful mage indeed. If he has learnt of Helman's and Erin's survival or existence, then it is possible that he has tried to track them down himself, which would be foolish. I mean, he is powerful, but to go after them himself, especially if they're working for Kosis or with Asmodeus at least. I believe that Helman was the instigator and the contractor behind the bounty on all dragons. If he still lives, that makes sense why Ildri is still being hunted.
Is Helman a male, did we say?
He is a male dwarf cleric. I can give you a description of what they looked like when I knew them. It's been a century or two since I've seen them, but I doubt they've changed too much in those times. They both live very long lives. Helman is a very stout, barrel-chested dwarf. He used to have sandy, blondish hair, very long, very bushy beard that he often had braided in a single braid, which would have been down to his waist at least. Possibly greying by this point, because he would be probably entering his twilight years at this point. He always hated dragons. He was never happy about Thorfinn's decisions to bind Kosis to a demiplane, and if anyone was responsible for sending Kosis to the hells, it would have been Helman. And Erin was always a follower. She supported whatever Helman decided within the council chambers. Hellman believes that chromatic dragons especially were responsible for his clan's demise many hundreds of years ago. No proof was ever found of this, but he believed it strongly. Erin is a very small, I mean, for a gnome, she's quite short, but fair-skinned, silvery blonde hair, in a sort of shoulder length, but she may have grown it out by now or changed the shape, who knows. Very capable wizard. She may even be in disguise. She's always supported Hellman, as her family was in fact killed by a green dragon many years ago. And again, as we know, most chromatics are very dangerous, and because obviously Kosis is a chromatic dragon himself, they took it upon themselves to just exasperate the situation by corrupting the rest of the council to vote in their favor to change where Kosis was to be bound, which obviously led to our current situation. So we have some options, we have some choices. The leadership of the Fang still needs to be determined. Garrick is working on that. He's looking into where the leadership can be found and what is needed to remove and replace the leadership to restore the Fang to what it should be. Also, now Hellman and Erin have become a top priority, because if we can find and remove them, then the bounty on dragons will be rescinded, and maybe Evldoa will be able to return more openly, shall we say, and aiding the realm of men once more. We also obviously have to find the whereabouts of Thorfi and what has happened with him. There have been more reports of demon attacks and such across the realms. Several cities have been attacked, and several of its peoples taken captive and killed in the process. Beyond itself has not been attacked thus far. We are in the process, as I'm sure you've noticed as you were coming through the city, that we are taking every step to fortify this city against an attack. This is where Kosis will strike when the time comes. We've had the scholars working on the remainder of the prophecy, and what we have discovered is for Kosis to complete his ritual for Asmodeus and open the gates of hell, 1,000 souls must be sent through an open portal on the eve of the full moon, which is well, the blood moon is what they call it, which is in 90 days time. So we have 90 days in which to destroy the remainder of the council, find Thorfi, sort out the Fang, and then prepare for the coming of Kosis. If he is to succeed on the night of the blood moon and send those 1,000 souls before the sun rises, all will be lost. The gates will be opened permanently, and all the millions of the 9 hells will spill into this plane and destroy us all.
Coram?
Yes, Head.
Is it possible for us to enter the hells and take Kosis down there?
I suppose that it's possible for you to enter the hells. However, there are 9 layers of hells. I'm not sure if you're aware. We have no way of knowing which plane he was sent to. It was not determined where he was sent. I believe Asmodeus is the prince of all the 9 hells, so he would have access to all levels of the hells. Each layer of hell has its own prince or princess. There is much unrest in the hells. potential alliances could be made, but it is a very dangerous place indeed. But it
I was
is an
hoping we
option.
could just walk in and kill him, but if it's a hunting ground, I mean, we might as well wait for him to exit.
Also, too, you would stand out very much so in the Hells. So I do not fear that you would. Do not know that you would fare well in the Hells. As capable as you've all become, the Hells is not a very nice place to be. I was in Stygius for a short time many centuries ago, and I barely made it out myself. Many of my friends did not, however. It is not something that I'd wish on my worst enemy, to be honest, which is why we were so against sending Croesus there in the first place, because Asmodeus and the other princes are very manipulative and have obviously used Croesus and what he can do to serve their own ends, which, as you have seen, has corrupted him to a point where I don't even think he's himself anymore. I think once, some time ago, he may have been reasoned with, even bribed, but now he is so set on his revenge, and he is definitely pushing Asmodeus' agenda, which is not good for anyone in the material plane. All we can do now is do what we need to do, find these people, and start rallying the people of Paradigm the best we can. We need to obviously bolster the city guard here. I've sent word to all of the major cities across the realms to do what they can in their own cities, and then in the weeks leading up to the Blood Moon, we will have bolstered our forces here. Because it will not just be Croesus that will be coming through that gate at the Blood Moon. He will be bringing the forces of the Hells with him. But Lions, your purpose and job will be to confront Croesus directly. The rest of Paradigm's forces will be to keep the devils and demons at the city walls long enough for you to bring Croesus down. With any luck, we will be successful. If we are not, then all will be lost.
Have you a direction on where this Hellman and Aaron may be?
Not at this time, but if you leave it with me, I will do what I can. I'll talk to the mages and see what we can ascertain. If they have surfaced, then we should be able to find them if they are not warded. At the very least, we can possibly get a place to start. But you all look like you need rest. Nemaris definitely could do with some recuperation. You should be safe in the city for the time being.
And a bath.
Yes, Nemaris, and a bath. But yeah, you should be fine in the city for the time being. Again, we have warded the city against any kind of scrying magic, so while you are here, Asmodeus and Croesus cannot trace you, or should not be able to trace you. But we can only hope that we are successful in our tasks. I will send word as soon as we have more information on any of the people that we need to find. Evldoa, make a wisdom save for me.
15.
15. You cannot help yourself. Where you're sitting, the mention of Hellman and Aaron's names that you're familiar with. You have met them once before. Now knowing that they are responsible for the contract on your head and indirectly responsible for the death of your child, you lose control just for a moment. You don't fully transform. Your eyes take on a very draconic look. Your scale shows through, and your teeth also show through. I need everyone to make a perception check. Corum sees this, does not react, however. Everyone else needs to make a perception roll for me, please.
Mine will be at disadvantage.
It will be at disadvantage, yes. So, Namaris, yours.
Well, the second one was a nat 20, but my first one was 6.
6. So you do not notice. You're sitting directly beside Jayla, and you can hear a shifting in a seat and somewhat. Yes, what was that, Namaris? Did you balls up your roll? Hello?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So you don't see her. You're more preoccupied with the fact that you're tired, you're lethargic, you stink, you need a bath. You're just so preoccupied with the bathing that you didn't notice. Sadiq.
6? 9. Sorry.
9. You also did not notice. You again hearing these names, and again more people that need to die. Also too, your thoughts keep falling to the onyx blade momentarily, just what he said about making you stronger. If all you're going to do is kill people, basically, and you like the idea of being stronger. Hit.
12.
You also do not notice. You seem again preoccupied with the discussion, with Corum and what's going on. Alessandros.
I'm standing next to Fiel.
You're all sort of sitting in almost like a semicircle on comfortable chairs and couches.
Well, with a 25.
Oh, you noticed. Whether you react is up to you, but you do notice her.
I put my hand on her shoulder and just gently squeeze.
Okay. With that, Yayla, or Eldri, you feel Alessandros reach out and just gently squeeze your shoulder, and you then take a deep breath, bring yourself under a bit more composure, and maintain your illusion. But for a brief moment, the rage did build up to the surface at the mention of those names, knowing that they are directly responsible for pretty much your entire existence in hiding. So, with that, Corum then says, well, I bid you good day. I have other duties to attend. I need to oversee the bolstering of our city defences and other things to tend to. Obviously try and get this information for you guys so we can move forward. Garrick may stop by the guild in a few days to give you some more information on where to find the remainder of the Fang hierarchy and to possibly deal with them. He will not interfere directly, as he intends to take over and restore the Fang to what it should be, so he needs to be remaining in the shadows so that the other members fall in line when the shift of power takes place. So obviously it's good if someone outside the Fang deals with that. Namaris themselves would definitely be more than capable of dealing with this. Namaris, it is good to see you alive, although you do need to rest and recuperate.
It's good to be alive.
Hope to see you restored to your former self very soon. And I congratulate you all on achieving what you have thus far for the realms of Paradigm. Rest assured that your names will go down in history. Songs will be sung, stories will be told for many, many years to come. whether you are successful or not. You've already proven yourselves to be great heroes of this land, and I commend you all. You will always have my thanks. And with that, he gets out of his seat and motions to the door, opens the doors for you, and his manservant then shows you all to the front door, and you exit the manor home of Coromordan. Where do you go from here, and what are you doing? Namaris.
I'm going to go to the nearest bathhouse.
I don't think you'd even be capable of getting there on your own at this point.
If somebody
and
would
you
give
know
me a
that
hand.
there are baths. You know that there are baths you can bathe at the guild house. That much you do
Oh,
remember.
well, then that's where I'm going.
All those facilities are available to you at the guild house.
I'm going back there for a nice bath.
So you're all heading back to the guild house. You take your time. Obviously, you don't rush because Namaris can't move very fast. So your movement is slowed somewhat because of her. Hit you want to say
DM, yeah, what time of day is it?
by now it would be probably midday.
Okay, Hit would not go back to the guild house. He would head into an area of sort of general stores, sales and purchases and things.
The closest market district, definitely.
Yes.
So what did you want to do there?
We can deal with the others first while I make a few notes, thanks.
No worries. So the rest of you, Hit, do you excuse yourself, or you just wander off on your own, or you let them know what you're doing?
No, Hit's trying to be polite to everyone. He would say, if you guys don't mind, I have a few errands to attend.
And you guys let him go?
Yeah.
So you guys carry on. You eventually get to the guild house. It's a little bit slower going than usual because of Namaris. Lyle is sitting at one of the tables, as is, when I remember his name, Seth, the new, or newish, he's not so new anymore. He is milling around doing his daily duties as well, and Lyle again stands up and gives you a sharp nod. Good morning, or afternoon almost. Welcome home. You were successful in your journey?
Yes, we were.
This is good to hear. And who is this?
This is Namara. She's also with the Lions, and we need to get her all cleaned up and some clothes if we have clothes extra.
Namaris. Yes, I have seen her name on the list. She has been marked as deceased, however. Yet here she stands. How is this possible?
Long story.
Mistakes were
I
made.
pipe up with it, so it sounds like it was a very long and complicated thing.
If you will excuse me, just one moment. Do you mind? And he walks up to you and just motions to see your arm.
So I show him my arm.
And he inspects and does see your guild tattoo, which is still there and present. Ah, very well. One moment. Seth, would you prepare a bedroom for Nemares? The vacant one next to Miss Fiola's room, I believe. Makes that up for her. Chop chop. And Seth sort of, oh, all right then. And he limps his way upstairs. And Lyle sort of looks at you and gives you a bit of a sniff. Oh, you are in need of bathing also, I believe. Right this way.
Oh, yes I am.
And he takes your arm, and he's quite a big guy. I mean, you've never met him before, but he takes you by the arm, and he's got very gentle hands for a big dude. And he leads you to the bathhouses and shows you into one of the bathrooms and says, at your leisure. Welcome home, Miss Namaris.
Thank you.
And he bows sharply and closes the door behind him. Returns back to the main guild hall with the rest of you, and I assume drinks all around. Get Seth on his way back, and he will sort you out. Once again, I congratulate you on your success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And he then just takes his seat back to where he was, and he was having a drink. He was going over some paperwork. Do you guys then head to your rooms, or wait for Seth to come back to get drinks and food? It's about lunchtime-ish, so it's probably about 12:30, 1 by this point. Hold up, no more.
I'm gonna go up to my room and put Heavenly Executioner on the, I don't know, somewhere.
I'd say that you could probably hang it on a wall if you wanted to, or
Yeah.
lean it up against something, but you decide to put that in your room on
Yeah,
its own.
put
Yep.
it in.
Which is not a problem. You have a whole bunch of stuff in your packs. You're probably going to have to relinquish some of those items, because you have Heavenly Executioner, you've got Helm's Vengeance as well.
I'm just carrying that. I'll probably put that in the Maris.
You're going to put that in the Maris's room? Okay, duly noted.
Yeah.
And so you will probably need to sort your inventory somewhat, because even carrying 2 great swords would be a bit of a struggle. So Helm's Vengeance is in the Maris's room. Heavenly Executioner, they're hung on a wall in your room. Anything else you wish to do?
No, that's
it. Namaris, you wanted to say something?
As I'm getting into the water and kind of just going under, just like, as you do, I'm thinking, I wonder what happened to Jeremy.
That's right, because, Seth is not someone you know, nor is Lyle.
No.
So Lyle is a bit of a mystery to you as well. He's introduced himself, while he was taking you, he introduced himself as the new headmaster. You didn't ask about the old headmaster because it was sort of a bit of confusion. It's like, well, what happened to Riffic? Where's Jeremy? Those sort of things are playing on your mind. Something you could possibly RP later on. With that, Fiala Elishandros, is there anything you wish to do? As Seth returns now to the guild hall, and asks you if you want food, drink, or if you guys are okay.
I'm going up to my room and stow a few items.
Okay, so any items you wish to stow, just mark them out of your inventories, but make a note of what items you're putting in your rooms, guys, if you're doing those sorts of things. Fiala, what are you doing at this point?
If everybody's going to their rooms, I guess I'll go to my room too.
And is there anything you wish to achieve while you're in your room?
No, I'm very upset, so I'm just gonna try and pace the room and calm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hit, we now move back to you as you head into one of the market districts looking for a vendor of some description.
Yes, specifically magical items and things like that. Someone who could do enchanting.
That would be the Arcanus. It's about the only place in town, so yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So you
so I head
to the Mage's Tower, the Arcanus Potterum, the large tower in the almost the centre of town. You make your way there. You've been there dozens of times before. You have no problems getting there, and you are greeted by one of the clerks, the same young mage acolyte that you've dealt with several times before, and I can never remember her name. When I find it, I will let you know. Not her, that's a boat lady.
Have the jeweler dwarf working that day.
Shazoo is her name. She greets you. Shazoo. She greets you. Good afternoon. How can I help you today?
Well, Miss Shazoo, you see this lovely studded leather armor that I wear?
It's looking a little dirty, but yes, it is lovely nonetheless.
It turns around and it's got a symbol of the Steel Lady on the rear, and on the right front it's the symbol of the Steel Lady as well. And he says, yes, it could do with a clean. I could possibly get it dry cleaned if that's what you do here, but nonetheless, I don't want it cleaned. I would like to know what it would cost me to. It's already slightly enchanted, but I want to enchant it just a wee tad more.
And what's the just out of curiosity, what's the enchant that's on it? Is it a +1?
It's just a +1 at this current point.
And
He wants to make it a +2 if he can.
+2. She looks at you. She looks over the armor, and she sort of closes her eyes and reaches out and doesn't touch the armor, but hovers probably an inch or two off it. Mutters some arcane words, some of you which you understand, others you don't. And she goes, So what exactly are you looking to do? Are you looking to increase its effectiveness?
Correct. I wanted to. I mean, at the moment, it's aiding me well. It's better than wearing a cloak. But if I wear much more heavier, it taxes me. It makes me tired, makes me noisy. So I'm hoping if we can enchant it to be a little tougher, per se, that would be lovely.
Yes, of course. It'll take 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days to achieve, because we can't just increase the enchant. We'd have to remove its current enchant and put a new one on. This would cost just one moment, and she walks over to another acolyte wearing the similar sort of robes, and you can see them discussing backwards and forwards, and she sort of shakes her head and nods and makes some hand gestures, and then after a few minutes she comes back and says, well, normally this would be quite expensive, but as you and the rest of the Lions are well known in Villand and across the realms, we feel that we could do it at a discounted rate. 900 gold pieces, which would cover the cost of the materials and the time that it would take to enchant this item for you.
That sounds reasonably fair. Of course, I may not be here for 5 days. Is there some sort of magics that you could send it to me once it is done?
Potentially. Not. I myself cannot do that. I mean, there are teleportation circles and such, but I'm not sure if we can send inanimate objects unless they're on someone's person. We could possibly send someone to you if we knew where you were going to be.
I will give you my armor now. I'm thinking, like, do you have a spare car model that I can borrow?
Probably not.
I will give you my armor now, but if I am to leave, I will let you know where I am going. Is that fair?
That is fair. I said we will try and do it as quickly as possible, but I'm saying it would be at least 5 days, and
yes.
that is rushing things. Sometimes these things can take up to 2 weeks. It really depends. But we will do our utmost best to do it for you. You can either pay now or pay when you receive your armor.
I can pay now. That would be fine. It saves trying to remember out of character later.
Oh, fine. If you go and speak to this lady over here, she deals with the coin. And you can see there's it's not really a counter per se, it's almost like a booth almost. And you can see another elven woman dressed in similar robes. She's got a golden sash though, which is different than everybody else. And she looks at you and nods, and she says, Master Het, my name is Sherry, and 900 gold, if you please.
Het takes out one pouch and pulls out the platinum equivalent of 900 gold.
And she looks at you, she counts through it, and she goes, perfect, thank you so much. And again, we will try and get things done as quickly as possible for you.
Thank you, ma'am. I shall see you in around, hopefully, 5 days, and I will let you know if I go anywhere sooner.
No problem. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Can you point me in the direction of a florist?
I don't believe we have these wildflowers on the south side of the city. if you were looking for flowers. I don't believe we have anyone that sells flowers in the city that I'm aware of.
Ah, okay. That is odd for a giant city like this.
There may be some street sellers if you wanted to have a look through the markets, but not a specific shop dedicated to it.
Yeah, Hit will do that. Thank you very much.
So you're going to wander through the market and see if you can spot anyone. Roll investigation for me.
Actually, Hit's just going to side.
What are you going to ask?
He's going to side one of the locals as he walks through the street and just, like a young kid, and just say, hey, where's someone who sells flowers? And if not, can you just go get me some and I'll give you gold?
Just approach a random child on the street?
Just a random, roughly teenage-looking child.
Okay, so you wandering through the market district. There's plenty of young people around. There's the town crier that you've seen before. He wanders around this particular market district, and he's got his little, it looks like 2-page printed parchments of the Villon City News, and it's like, hear ye, the lions return home, hopefully successful in their task. And another sort of headline is saying, city under attack, guards doubled for the next 6 months. Just little headlines of what's happening around the realms. You do then find a group of about 4 or 5 boys. They seem to be playing a game with, it looks like bones. They seem to be trying to throw them up and catch them, and trying to catch as many as they can. And they're just sort of going through. One boy's having his turn, and one of the other boys sort of shoves him, saying, "Oh, you cheated! You're not supposed to do it like that." And as you approach them, they also look up, and one of them goes, "Oh, that's cool. Is that real?" And he's sort of pointing up at your face, thinking it might be a mask or something like that. He's probably never ever seen a dragonborn in his life.
Yes, child, very real. I am Hit from the Lions of Villon. Have you heard of me?
Oh, the lion? Yeah, we've heard of the lions. Oh, see, you're the dragon thing, dude, fella. Awesome.
Correct. How many children are in front of me, DM?
About 4 or 5, and they're all rearing ages between sort of 14 and 17. And they're all sort of looking at you, going, "Oh, that's so cool."
I have an extreme job. Is one of you or all of you up to the task?
Yeah. What do you need? And they're all sort of standing up, sort of dusting themselves off, going, Yeah. Of course. What can we do?
I need each and every one of you to grab, and not steal, but go and get the wildest, most beautiful flowers you can find, and make a massive bunch each, and tie them together, put them in some sort of water skin, and I want you to deliver them to, and he writes down on one of his bits of paper. Can one of you kids read?
The older of the group says, I can read a little bit, not too good, but yeah, little.
Good. Deliver them to this address, and he gives the address of the guild house and Fiela's.
And you can see him sort of holding the paper out like this, and he's sort of looking at Squinting, going, I know where that is. Yeah, okay. And right away.
Well, yes, right away. So, hold a second. I don't expect you to do this for nothing.
Well, we weren't
5
gonna.
kids.
And he holds out his hand. And they all start holding out their hands.
Good. Hold out your hands. I'm going to give you, and this is expensive, because you guys are going to treat these flowers with the utmost care and respectability, and you're going to make the nicest bouquets you can find.
And they're all sort of just nodding, not saying anything, going.
I will see them, and I will bite the arms off every single one of you if it isn't delivered how I ask, because I am paying you good money. I will give you 10 gold each if this is done correctly.
You see their eyes just all light up, like 10 gold.
Yes, you can give some to your parents and keep the rest aside. I do not care.
I don't really have any parents, but okay.
As long as you can buy a water skin and keep the rest. The water skin is to keep the flowers healthy.
All
and
right.
5 big bunches of flowers must be delivered. If they are not, I will hunt you all down. And he brings out his
Roll intimidation
skull.
with advantage.
He brings out his skull and he holds his skull up and he says, "And by the power of Grey Skull, I will eat you all if you don't do this." And
yeah, roll intimidation with advantage.
so that's it. This is gonna be huge, dude. That's a net 20 plus
Holy
11,
shit.
31.
These kids, their eyes, if their eyes could bug out of their heads, oh my god, they would just, they would literally out of their heads. And we just got raided with 39. Rock on, guys. Thank you so much for the raid. Exclamation point hype in the chat, guys. And yeah, so with that, hit you, these kids wide-eyed, nodding, do you give them the gold straight up?
Yes, I give them the gold straight up, and I say, as they leave, I say, make sure you deliver it right around within the next hour, within tea time, before tea time would be good.
So they got a few hours, 2 or 3 hours. So you see that the moment you hand over the gold and they eagerly they clutch it in their hands. One puts it in his pocket, the other one's just sort of looking at it with eyes wide, and then they all scatter, different directions. They're just gone. They take off.
Memorizes each and every one of their faces.
And with that, we'll wait and see whether they turn up. So what are you doing after that hit? You're going to then return to the guild house?
Back to the guild house, correct, yes.
So from where you are, it's going to take about an hour and a half for you to return to the guild house. And as you arrive, 3 of the 5 boys are waiting for you outside the guild house, all with their respective bunch of flowers. And after 2 or 3 minutes of you sort of arriving there, you spy one of the other boys coming from in the distance from the northern part of the city. And then as you're speaking to these 4, looking at the bouquets of flowers that they've all achieved, the 5th boy turns up. So they do all return. You're looking over the bunches of flowers. The first boy, the youngest, it's not huge, but it's a respectable bunch of daisies. Looks like a few dandelions and a couple of flowers you're not sure of, but a range of colours, sort of pink, yellow, and the fluffy white dandelions, some of which most of the petals have already been blown off. You think that he might have blown them on his way into town because it's kind of cool. But he's got it tied up with a piece of string, and he hasn't got it in a water skin, but it's in just like a mason jar, a crockery mason jar, but it's definitely got a bit of water in the bottom of it. And he comes up to you. He doesn't speak much. He sort of grins and hands it to you as you inspect it.
All of you, don't hand it to me. You are all going to deliver this to her door very shortly. Okay.
All right.
Here,
which
I'll
door?
give you an extra 10. I'll give you an extra 10 silver each.
And they all just grin. They all just grin and nod.
Okay. And Hit shows them the doorway. He lines them up in front of the door, and he uses prestidigitation to clean them all up a little.
And they were looking pretty filthy. You can tell they're probably all street kids, all dusty and dirty. Their clothes are pretty disheveled and a little bit tattered. 10 gold's probably all the most they've seen in their whole lives.
And he's added an extra 10 silver each, so it's good for them, I guess.
Oh, definitely.
And he uses prestidigitation just once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times just to clean them up. And then he uses
like you give them a side part and make them look like the alfalfa kids. You got one of them with a little spiky bit sticking up at the front. The tallest, the 17-year-old, he's got a comb over with a spiky bit that just won't stay down.
Okay.
So which door are we standing at? Just out of curiosity.
Right in front of Fiela's door.
I assumed as much, but I wanted to be sure.
And then Hit uses his magic skills, prestidigitation preferably, to knock on the door elegantly, but then put sparkles and glitter and things all around the kids, and then Hit backs down the stairs or the hallway out of the way so he can't be seen. Okay,
and Fiala, you hear a light knock on the door, and as you open the door, you see 5 sparkly, clean children, all varying heights and ages. all with, looks like the appearance of literally licked their hands and combed over their hair, and one's got a big alfalfa spike sticking up, and they're all carrying differing bunches of flowers, different wildflowers from around the city. Some smaller than others. The 17-year-old's got quite a big bunch, and again, just a range of colours, yellows, greens, pinks, whites, a bit of lavender in there as well, and they're all just, I mean, some of them are smiling, but they're all wide-eyed, so they're just holding the flowers up like this, sort of looking at you. They don't say anything because they have no idea what they're doing here.
You are the shiniest children I've ever seen. What are these for? And I take flowers.
Hit dragon thing.
Oh.
Yeah. For you.
You look. You look very scared. I'll take those.
No, just weirded out. I've never been this clean. Feels kind of strange.
You look wonderful.
And the littlest one looks like he's probably about 12 or 13 years old. It's just grinning inanely, just nodding and grinning.
Okay.
And he just he waves to you.
Hi. Maybe someday I'll take you on a ride on a dragon. I know that'd be fun,
Dragon?
huh?
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
He looks kind of scared, but kind of amazed all at the same time. Because the only dragon I've met is Het, and he scared the crap out of them about 2 hours ago.
Oh, well, I didn't know that, so I might have just scared him more.
Yeah,
like,
he's like, oh, okay, I guess bye now.
Bye.
And they they all hand their flowers to you. Some of them in water skins, a couple of them in mason jars, and then they sort of turn in Scarpa and Het. They all come down the stairs past you, and sort of wide berth, opposite side of the stairs, but they all wave at you and smile.
Trying to high five them.
And the 17-year-old sort of goes, holds his hand up, doesn't really know what to do, doesn't know what a high five is, sort of just holds his hand up, same as you, kind of halfway.
I'll whack it.
How hard do you hit it?
He's a kid. I give him a good solid whack.
He sort of goes, thanks, and takes off. The other kids sort of duck under your arm as they sort of take off down through the guild house and out the front door.
Thank you, children. Okay, bye-bye now.
So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we will call our story there for the evening. It's actually after our finish time, about 10 minutes after, but I wanted to finish that piece of RP because it was just cool. So we had one lot of luck given to Alessandros. You'll keep that for the next session. So make note of that, so that you will have that for next Sunday. So again, make note of the characters that you get it for, because we will be doing this for the Curse campaign on Wednesdays as well. So chat, if you do have the channel points, click the gold coin down the bottom to see what you can do. You are able to give a luck or an inspiration to a character of your choice throughout the shows. Maximum of 5 of each to the players, and they do stack, and they would transfer over to other players, to the players the following week. Try and keep them separate for each campaign. We will be back again on Wednesday night for the Curse of Strahd campaign, which will be episode 4. So he'll be back for us then. We would like to thank very much Wisdom Saves for the raid tonight. Guys, sorry that we are finishing up right after your raid, but we do appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate you bringing your community over to us and dropping the raid on us here on Evldoa TV. Obviously, my name's Evldoa. I am from New Zealand, as are most of my players, or some of my players. New Zealand and Australia, we have a full range of people hanging out with us, American, Canadian, pretty much all over the world. But the bulk of us are from Oceanic region. We do enjoy having everyone come and hang out with us. Epic Dwarf, thank you for stopping by tonight. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. As I say, Wednesday night, same time, 7:30 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time is the times that we do play on a Wednesday night and a Sunday night. So for those of you in the US, that is the evening before, or the early morning before. So on a Wednesday night, it'll be late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. And for the Sunday night campaign, it'll be early Sunday morning for those of you in the US. For those of you in Australia, 2 to 3 hours behind us, obviously, as is standard for most of Aussie. But thank you so much for joining us again tonight. We really much appreciate it. We are going to raid. We're going to pass the love on to someone else playing the Dur and Durs this evening, as we always do. And because we did get raided by someone else, we're definitely going to pass that on. There's Dreaded GM is on tonight, and we have Mr. Anarcade with 8 viewers doing Silver Creek Port. Looks like it might be a homebrew campaign with 8 viewers. Been running 44 minutes. Let's look at them. We try and raid someone new every week if we can. Oh no, we've raided these guys before.
I think we did that last week.
Yeah, I think we did them last week. Let's see if we can find someone.
Damn it all.
Gertz directs
Painted
you
Filth
towards
is on.
the lighthouse, and there's a small
We've raided
little
him
building at the
before.
front. As he
They
stands
look like they're
there,
getting ready to
pivots
finish.
180 degrees, looks at you all,
That's
and
a
says,
Russian
"All right,
one.
well, this is the end of our travel.
There's a Russian one. What's this one? They'll be going
We
for
won't
26
be able to
minutes.
understand.
We got DJ Dominic. Oh, we got ads. Wait for the ad to finish. But while we're waiting for the ad to finish, quickly go around before Het has to bugger off because he's got work tomorrow. Neymaris, favourite standout moment from tonight's session for you?
For me, the mushrooms.
Fiala supplying Neymaris with mushrooms. And try and pick something different, guys, too, just to make it more difficult for you guys. But Neymaris' favourite moment was Fiala, her friend, picking mushrooms for her. Ildri/Fiala, a standout moment for you this evening.
I got flowers, but I like when Bash pulled Allie across.
Thing is, he was watching Fiala too. He just didn't do anything. He was keeping an eye on everybody.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Mr. Pecker, Sadiq, your standout moment, sir.
When Het scared the shit out of the kids to get flowers.
It was pretty intimidating. I mean, he was intimidating anyway because not very many Dragonborn in Valand, and Het with those big sharp teeth and the just big in general.
And Allie's puppy dog moment with sleeping.
Oh, sleeping outside Fiala's tent. That was pretty cool. Baz, aka Mr. Het.
So I was going to say Allie's moment as well, but it's tough.
There's been a few standout moments tonight. There was some good ones.
There has been. I will go with. Man, you guys make it tough. Everything is so good all the time. The sword the sword and Sadiq, man. That's the back and forth between there was funny.
Yeah.
Well, it was mostly when Sadiq stuck it in the water and was like, shush, he's like, I talk in your head, that was pretty good.
Well, when he did that, it was like, does he realise it's telepathic and it's the sword not actually speaking?
I didn't think of that. It was just funny.
That's what made me sort of say, you realise, that I'm talking in your head, right? But that was pretty cool. Alessandros, Mr. Trashman. Can't hear you. What'd you do? You're unmuted, but now we can't hear you.
Oh, no.
He broke it. Type it, and I can say it out if you can't.
He broke the interwebs.
He broke the interwebs. If you can't get your mic going, just type it out.
Just like when you look for traps.
Yeah, I know.
God.
You seem to just break everything. I mean, Christ. What did you do, Trashy?
Oh, you typed in chat Sadiq and the
Sadiq and
sword.
the sword.
Oh, Sadiq and the sword as well. Supposed to choose something different, but okay. I got a couple of standout moments. One was yeah, well, it's few. Alessandro's definitely out sleeping outside Het and Fiala's tent, but then Bash just dragging him aside ever so quietly, just not to wake him up, and then Fiala almost losing her shit in Corum's office was a standout moment for me. But Neymaris, you played your return part very well this evening. What we discussed, I gave you a whole bunch of information and you made it your own too. You didn't just read off what you'd written down, which I was half expecting you to do, but you made that whole part your own, which was really cool. But yeah, the way you guys handled Neymaris in general, with reintroducing her, coming back to Corum, the Bash slip with the killing of Neymaris and the dealing of that was kind of cool as well. But yes, I very much enjoyed playing the part of Craven's Edge and dealing with Sadiq, and watching Sadiq's face as I was speaking to him was awesome. I look forward to many more interactions with Sadiq in that regard. That should be a lot of fun. So without any further ado, chat, we're going to say good evening, and we will see you on Wednesday night, again 7:30 PM New Zealand Standard Time, for the Curse of Strahd episode 4, which we will see the return of Emilia and Adok with these lovely players as well, and we will be then again back on Sunday night for some more Paradigm. Until then, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we will see you later. Bye.